there. Hey, everybody. Welcome to this episode of Movies America. Spoiler warning on this Thursday night here. It's pre-Friday. It's Thirsty Thursday. We are getting ever so close to Christmas here. So I know everyone's winding down the regular part of the year and moving more towards Christmas and that kind of thing. So why don't you spend it with me? Because right here, obviously, I'm in the Christmas mood right there. So... And we are going to get going here. Hopefully my camera is still working there. Apparently my camera just froze up. So that is fantastic. That's one part of the fun of doing a live stream right here is you're at the mercy of your hardware here. So let's do this here real quick. And I'll just play the intro. And then hopefully by the time I get back here, we'll have a actual operational camera. So, all right.
In a world where the number of movies available is great, but many are so bad, you'll learn a new definition of hate. One man sifts and reviews through the movie sludge. One man be cop, jury, and judge. He goes by many names, but you know him by Movies America.
All right, so we do actually have a camera that is working here, but let me do a little adjustment here real quick. And get that going on. There we go. You're getting to see how the sausage is made here tonight. Okay, yes. All right, well, onwards and upwards, everyone, as we go through this show here. And I'm glad that, the show didn't get off to a rocky start or anything like that. I'm glad we averted that problem. Yeah, absolutely. So, but real quick here, let's move on by me welcoming in my movie maniacs and my fellow freedom-fueled film fanatics. You guys know who you are. And so we are going to get into Lord of the Rings, the War of the Rohirrim tonight, okay? And now, it doesn't just have to be me that's getting into the Lord of the Rings, War of the Rohirrim. I'm just going to shorten that down to War of the Rohirrim. That's going to be a mouthful if I got to, talk about, if I got to title that name, if I got to read that movie name off all night long, it's going to take forever to finish up this show right here. So, yes, if you want to talk about the War of the Rohirrim with me or any of the Lord of the Rings movies or hell, any movie that you want, because this show is called Movies America, then get in the live chat. So you can get in the live chat on Rumble or YouTube, and you guys can talk to me back and forth and whatnot because, nothing's more boring than just sitting here, just sitting on your butt, listening to me going yip, 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 yip the whole time. I mean, we need to have a little back and forth, the lines of communication going back and forth between you and me. And that's the number one reason, or that's one of the reasons that I created this show is that so I could give the opportunity, I could give a chance for anybody that is into movies like I am at all, like even a percentage of how much I'm into movies, give them an opportunity to talk back and forth via the live chat about whatever movie that I'm reviewing or talking about that week. In this case, it's the War of the Rohirrim. But again, we don't have to keep it relegated to just War of the Rohirrim because I'm well aware, as you guys could tell from my review that I came out with on Sunday, I am not a fan of this movie. I am not a fan of this movie. And so I don't expect anybody else to be a fan of this movie right here. This movie pretty much...
Crash and burn, huh, Mav?
So I don't expect people to talk about a movie that I don't expect myself to talk about a movie here or talk about. So, yeah, if you guys want to actually talk about, the Fellowship of the Ring or Two Towers or The Return of the King, better Lord of the Rings movies than War of the Rohirrim, by all means, if you want to do that, I like the cut of your jib. Okay, so if you're going to do that, I will drink to that.
I'm drunk. You're drunk. Everybody's drunk.
Yep. And maybe that's the only way that you can actually enjoy War of the Rohirrim is just being just hammered out of your gourd when you go to the theater and watch War of the Rohirrim right there. Because about 15 minutes into that movie, I wanted to just have someone just pour in like the basically the highest proof alcohol down my throat. Okay, so just numb the pain from watching this movie right there. So it was an experience. It was an experience right there. And was I having a tough time? Yeah. So that's so again, like I said, if you don't really feel like listening, geez, let me talk. If you don't really feel like talking about War of the Rohirrim tonight, then you can talk about Lord of the Rings or any other Lord of the Rings movies or any movie that at all that you want right there. But and it turns out that we know at least part of the reason that this Lord of the Rings movie, War of the Rohirrim, specifically, was done was the passion project equivalent of me trying to make salsa with just a tomato and half of an onion. Warner Brothers had to make some sort of Lord of the Rings movie or creation in order to keep the film rights to it. Like I had to click my mouse to keep my laptop from going to sleep. They had to make a Lord of the Rings creation in order to make sure that their film rights to Lord of the Rings did not go to sleep right there. So, and Warner Brothers knew that they had to do it, but they were about as excited about making a Lord of the Rings creation as I am about going to the doctor just to hear the gloves snap and me cough. Okay. I mean, that's how excited they were about this. So Warner Brothers went as cheap as possible. Okay. If they could have gotten away with like paying some junior high drama program, maybe $10,000 and just do this as a play and then film it, they would have. Okay, if they would have went to Spring Hill, junior high school. I'm just making up a name, junior high school name, and just had a bunch of booger eating junior high school students just put on War of the Rohirrim as a play and just pay them $10,000 to do it. Okay, that's what they would have done. Instead, they went the next cheapest route, the Spirit Airlines of animation anime. Okay, so, and like your average Spirit Airlines passenger, Warner Brothers took a massive dump in the aisle, or in this case, on the screen. So let's just do a deep dive into that dump, shall we? Okay, so let's just check this out. I'm going to share my screen here, and we'll take a little look-see about this real quick here. Let me do this. Let's do this. There we go. Getting my ducks in a row. I know it's fascinating to check out right there. And let's do that. Copy and pasting. I know it's just so enlightening to hear all about this. There we go. All right, now we're cooking with gas there. And let's do that. There we go. All right. Excellente. And we are getting this going here. All right, there we go. All right, so let's make magic happen right here. So let's get God. All right. This computer is going to be the bane of my existence. Okay. So we're going to do a little deep dive, get a little bit more specific into what we found out about Warner Brothers needing to make this to keep the rights, not because they necessarily wanted to make anything Lord of the Rings related or anything like that, but as we see here, so as we read this article, unsurprisingly, Warner Brothers and New Line's animated feature film, The Lord of the Rings, The War of the Rohirrim, is struggling to find its footing both domestically and internationally. With a budget of $30 million, the film is projected to earn only $6 million to $7 million in its opening weekend in the United States. Internationally, the film has already underperformed, grossing just $2 million across 3,410 screens in 31 territories. The project was initiated by the previous Warner Brothers administration, led by Toby Emmerich, simply to secure the film adaptation rights to Tolkien's novels while keeping the original filmmaking trio of Peter Jackson, Fran Walsh, and Philippa Boyens involved. Now, the only reason that Peter Jackson lent his name to this turd is to stick it to Amazon, because when Amazon was making that dog shit Rings of Power TV series, well, I guess they're still making it, they completely shunned, like Dwight Schrute on The Office, shunned Peter Jackson from the Rings of Power. And of course, he's like, well, hey, I only made like the most successful installments of any Lord of the Rings creation ever. Okay, but you're going to shut me out. And of course, Amazon shut him out because I'm sure they were afraid that he would want to adhere more to the true spirit and what actually J.R.R. Tolkien actually wrote. Pardon me. There we go. I have a little burp there. Sorry. And so, and of course, Amazon Rings of Power, the writers, they had ulterior motives. They wanted to wokeify Tolkien's writings for the show. They wanted to wokeify the show, and because they realized that they know that they're not talented enough to create like this Middle Earth medieval type series or creation of their own, like independent of Tolkien, Lord of the Rings, just to make their own totally original creation. They know they're not talented enough to create an original creation that's compelling and entertaining enough to get people to enjoy it and watch it and create a following. So since they know that they're basically they have a sub-zero level of talent, they decided they have to ride the coattails of the creation of somebody that actually does have talent. In this case, J.R.R. Tolkien, who had massive talent. Okay, so Tolkien is like the complete inverse of the creators of Rings of Power. He has massive talent, and they have massive no talent, if that makes any sense whatsoever. Okay, so that's why they didn't want Peter Jackson involved, because he wasn't going to put up with that. He probably would have been like, no, we can't wokeify this show right here. That's not what Tolkien had in mind with his creation. If you're going to deviate from Tolkien to try to create some woke lecture, just create a completely original creation and stop bastardizing, stop shitting all over the creation of someone who's much better than you. Okay, so they didn't want to deal with that, so they shunned Peter Jackson. Well, that didn't sit too well with Peter Jackson, and so that's the only reason he lent his name to this War of the Rohirrim debacle that we've got right here. So, and as we continue on, directed by Kenji Kamiyama, the film was produced by Warner Brothers Television Animation with an anime style, which helped to keep production costs down. And the film was just a $30 million corporate exercise to maintain the rights. So New Line Cinema is the producer of the movie, but Warner Brothers owns New Line Cinema there. So if you hear somebody say, well, it's New Line Cinema that made this Lord of the Rings creation to keep the rights. Well, no. New Line Cinema is owned by Warner Brothers, so hence Warner Brothers needed to make this Lord of the Rings movie to keep the rights. These latest steps into Middle-earth, I'm including the Rings of Power, obviously, are simple money grabs to prey on what they thought was a smooth-brained fan base that would flock to anything in Middle-earth. Middle-earth needs a visionary behind it, not a corporation. I won't shed a tear when War of the Rohirrim bombs at the box office. Will you? Well, you know what? I am not going to shed a tear whatsoever because of that. Not one tear. You will not see any condensation, any precipitation come down from either of these eyeballs for this failing right there. Okay,
that's the coolest fucking story I've ever heard in my entire life. That's insane. Can I hear it again?
So yeah, but they're getting what they deserved with that terrible half-assed showing with the name of, War of the Rohirrim tied to it right there. Okay, so all right, we're going to keep moving on here real quick. And what I'm going to do here, just to keep things interesting and varied and spicy and all that stuff right there here. But real quick, let me double check here real quick. And there we go. Yes, welcome, Interlord right here. Good to see you here. Says, I saw some of the animation for the film. That style absolutely does not fit with Middle-earth one bit. The characters look like they belong in an 80s Japanese story. Horrid. You were right. Exactly. It's using anime, like I said, the Spirit Airlines of animation, just disrespects Lord of the Rings. Okay, there. It's just a complete kick right in the nuts of J.R.R. Tolkien right there. Something as rich and robust and legendary as Lord of the Rings deserves a higher level of presentation. Okay, it deserves more than just the dregs of visionary formats. Okay, so anime, like I always say, and all you anime fans, come at me. I don't care. Okay, I really don't care. I mean, what are you gonna do? Like, run halfway up the stairs of your mommy's basement right there, halfway up, and then your fat ass won't be able to make it all the way up there just to try to kick my ass? Come at me. All right. So now, that all being said, if you love anime, more power to you. Just don't ever try to don't ever try to just shove that down my throat and try to make me watch that or guilt trip me or if you don't watch anime, you're not cool. Quite the opposite. Quite the opposite, I'm afraid, there, guys, right there. So, yeah, it's just, and I say that because I know I've had anime fans, like kind of look down their noses at me before, and I'm sure they've done it to other people as well. Like, oh, you don't like anime? Well, I guess we're not cultured and sophisticated there. Like, in what world does watching anime make you sophisticated and cultured? Okay, yeah, in what sky is green and grass is blue world does that make any sense whatsoever right there? So, but yeah, a great insight there, Interlord. Again, yeah, great to have you here joining the show right there. So hopefully get some people to join in the live chat, but I don't know, because yeah, again, this episode, I advertised this episode as the show about Lord of the Rings, War of the Rohirrim, and since that movie made about $5 at the box office, I don't know. There's going to be a whole lot of people that are going to be motivated to check out this show tonight here. So, but I am going to be going over the Superman trailer later on. So that is something much more interesting and much more deserving of your time. There's everybody who's watching or just listening and not getting in the live chat right there. But yeah, join Interlord in the live chat and yeah, have a little back and forth with them here about and again, you don't have to have a back and forth with them about Lord of the Rings, War of the Rohirrim. I get it. It's quite yawn-inducing there, so I do not expect that whatsoever. So it's this is a very casual show. Live chat, what you please. Okay, but that being said, let's vary it up here a little bit by me telling you about tdpn.locals.com, as you see up there at the very tippy top. And that is our Till Death Podcast Network website, where we have fantastic, extraordinary content like videos and blogs and articles, all about things like movies and entertainment and cocktail recipes and politics and hot button sizzling topics of the day that, that guy and that girl are all talking about. And you don't want to be the one clueless person in the room that has no idea about anything about the topic. So arm yourself with the knowledge by going to tdpn.locals.com. And then as you see down below, if you put in promo code TDPN, you get 1 month free membership to tdpn.locals.com right there. So that means you get free access, full access, carte blanche access to the entire website. Nothing is off limits to you, okay? And then after that 1 month free, it's only a measly $3 minimum to keep that full VIP access. It's so sweet. It's so choice, okay? So, but if you don't go there, the only person that you have to blame is yourself, okay? So get there and check that out. All right. So let me take a real quick swig off my brew. And that's your reminder to, go ahead and toss back whatever you're drinking. Maybe it's a brew, maybe it's a cocktail, maybe you're just drinking straight out the brown bottle, like Tupac right there. Like you said, he knows his role model. It's in the brown bottle. There you go, a little Hennessy. But this is not Hennessy. This is a big ass beer. Let me take a tug off this bad boy. There we go. Yeah, I like a beer that looks like a grain silo, don't you? Oh, yeah. But, if you're drinking, hey, give me a toast in the live chat right there. So if you're drinking, throw a little beer mug up there or something like that. Show me that you guys are drinking anybody. And then also, if you're just watching or you're listening and, you got both hands free right here so you can do a little typing, well, get in the live chat. Because if you're watching and you've got both hands free right there, and you're not live chatting, you're what we call a lurker, okay? And so this is your opportunity to go above and beyond and get in the live chat and like just give me a thumbs up or a little wave or hell, put a poop emoji in there if you want in the live chat right there. So it's stretch your legs. Live chat, it's a safe space. No harm will come to you there, okay? So it's a friendly place. There you go, right there. All right, and got the Interlord. I heard just a bit of the dialogue from 2 or 3 characters. Sound like a few kids in a mall. Pardon me. Maybe in Portland or something. It's just got that vapid commentary about it there. There was nothing in the dialogue with these characters that is memorable whatsoever. Now, if you watch Lord of the Rings, like the first, like the Peter Jackson Lord of the Rings trilogy, there is so much dialogue, so many lines from those movies right there. I mean, the classic one is "You shall not pass," right? Or are you frightened? Yes, not nearly frightened enough. Aragorn's greatest line. Boromir, like, I would have followed you, brother. Just that tear-inducing scene where Boromir, goes out like a boss right there, and him and Aragorn is, trying to ease him into death in there and that kind of thing. Just awesome. Just, great lines right there. I'm going to get all choked up talking about this one right here. But like at the end of Return of the King, where Aragorn says, to Frodo and Samwise and Merry and Pippin, like, my friends, you bow to no one. Oh, what a moment. What a moment. No wonder that movie won Best Picture right there. What a moment right there. But you don't get anything even close to that in War of the Rohirrim. Why? Because as I just, went over with that article, Warner Brothers didn't give a shit. They just wanted to get something Lord of the Rings out there, anything. They just didn't care, okay? And so, that's when Philippa Boyens, the woman writer of this movie, when she probably came to them and said, hey, let's make this a girl boss movie, all right? Slay queen, yes, queen. Like, let's make it a girl boss movie. Let's do it. They're probably like, yeah, whatever. Do whatever you want. I don't care. We just need to make something Lord of the Rings. I don't care. Just do whatever you want. Just get out of the room, all right? Just do whatever you want, Philip, all right? I'm just done talking to you, all right? That's exactly probably how it went down right there. They didn't care. They just needed to make something to keep the film rights right there. So how are you supposed to like something that that only got that kind of effort, that level of effort out of it? So I'm not excited about that whatsoever. So, but I didn't like the movie, but I'm asking you, I'm imploring you to hit that like button down there, right? So if you didn't like the movie, at least like this episode right there, because I'm suffering over here. I'm a teetering, okay? You guys just had to watch the movie. I got to do a whole episode, a whole show about this movie here, just to warn people away from this movie, okay? I don't want people spending their hard-earned clams on going and seeing this pile of dog shit there. So if you appreciate that, hit the like button down there, okay, for me warding you away from this movie right here. And then while you're down there clicking buttons, if you would click the follow or subscribe button down there as well if you haven't already. If you have already, don't click it again because then you'll unfollow or unsubscribe from me, okay? And then hit that notification bell down there as well. So whenever there's a brand new piping hot fresh episode of Movies America, you hear ding, 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 okay? And then if you happen to not to be watching this episode live, okay, if you're watching the recording of it, well, first off, thanks a lot. How you doing? Thank you for watching this episode. I appreciate that. I appreciate your support. And your chance to communicate with me is not lost. It is not lost by any means. That's what the comment section is for down below. You can in the comment section just say, say hello, or let me know if there's anything you liked about the episode. Maybe let me know, hey, if there's something that I do that drives you absolutely buggy, okay, drives you absolutely nuts. Let me know that in the comments, and then I'll keep doing it even more. No, I'm kidding. No, I do take constructive criticism very well, because you might tell me I'm doing something that drives you nuts, and you'd be like, I'll be like, oh, you're right, I do that. Yeah, I can see how that would drive you buggy. I'm going to stop doing that right there. So I am not above constructive criticism, okay? Now, if you like something that I do in the episode, let me know that as well. And then I will do more of that to enhance your experience of watching every Movies America episode right there. Absolutely there. All right, we're going to move on here real quick. And let's see here. We got Interlord just bringing the good back and forth, bringing the good conversation here. The head art direction of the movies were from Alan Lee, John Howe, masters that created calendars, books, paintings. They most certainly didn't look to them for inspiration. Absolute disaster there. Yeah, I wonder what happened with that. Like, just a swing and a miss in this right here. I mean, it's almost like just everyone just phoned it in with this movie. It just didn't really care. And so it's like that whole saying, like, if you're a content creator, if you're creating this project, you're creating this creation, and as someone asks you to describe your creation, well, if you can't get excited when you're describing the creation to somebody, how can you expect other people to get excited about your creation? Or if you're making a movie or a TV series or writing a book or creating a comic book or something like that, your elevator pitch better entail you at least acting, at least pretending like like you're so enthusiastic and you're so excited. And my book, yeah, it's about this guy and he built this tree house, okay? And he's up there with his friends, and all of a sudden this bolt of lightning comes down. Oh, it's so great. It's so awesome. And so this bolt of lightning comes down, hits a tree house, and it transforms him and all his friends into these supreme beings, all these superpowers, and then they have all these adventures, and like that's how you should be. That's how you should present your idea, your elevator pitch. Like, be enthusiastic, be excited, be passionate about it. Now, there was none of that about this movie right here, except for maybe from Philippa Boyens, again, the writer that wanted to make this a total girl boss movie here. So she was probably excited about it. Everyone else that was, listening to her elevator pitch about that, they were probably just like, okay, all right, whatever. I don't know. We just got to make something. It's only going to make $10 at the box office. You're going to make the same mistake the Furiosa makers did, making people think it's a girl boss movie, and Furiosa made about $15 at the box office as a result. But hey, you do whatever you want to do there, Philippa. Right there. So, yep, love it. It's a Lord. Yeah, when are you reviewing this new Superman movie? Heard nothing of it. I don't watch TV. Yeah, neither do I. I just watch YouTube. That's all I watch pretty much right there, except for when I'm watching college football. But so what I'm going to be doing, what I'm going to be reviewing into Lord, or kind of doing a deep dive on, is there's a new teaser trailer for the Superman movie that's coming out July of next year. Okay, so there's no new Superman movie yet. It's not available yet. It's going to come out July of next year. And I'm just going to do a deep dive on the Superman trailer here eventually in this show. If I could just manage to hold myself back from talking so much about, this great creation called War of the Rohirrim. Yeah, okay. There. So I'm going to go into that right there. But let me go into one more blurb about War of the Rohirrim right there. And then we'll be done, I promise. We'll be done here. Unless someone comes in a live chat, and wants to just talk about War of the Rohirrim. Then if that happens, I will talk War of the Rohirrim with them because I'm all about, giving the audience what they want right here. But to be honest with you, Rohirrim was pretty shameless, and how it tried to ride the coattails of the Peter Jackson Lord of the Ring trilogy, like I was talking about earlier. The beginning of its trailer, featured live action footage from that trilogy. You saw Gandalf on Shadowfax riding off, and you saw Eowyn there, right in front of the golden what's called the Golden Temple of Rohan there. There you saw Aragorn, the famous shot of him, throwing open the doors there of the Golden Palace or Golden Tower or whatever there of Rohan there, just to suck everybody in to make everyone think like, oh, ooh, War of the Rohirrim, it's going to be just like the original Lord of the Rings trilogy. Sweet. Okay. They're hoping that suckers would buy that right there. And so they did that to leech off the goodwill that was so richly deserved from the original Lord of the Rings trilogy. Now, hopefully the next Lord of the Rings movie, The Lord of the Rings, The Hunt for Gollum, that's coming out in 2026, hopefully that'll respect Tolkien's legacy enough to not just put out a cheap, half-ass product like Rohirrim. Like the Balrog, this challenge may be beyond any of them. At least Gollum will be live action, so they at least care enough about the project to use that format, to use the live action format, as opposed to, again, the Spirit Airlines of animation anime there. And Andy Serkis and Ian McKellen, they're coming back as Gollum and Gandalf, respectively. The big debate, though, is whether to bring Viggo Mortensen back to play Aragorn. And if they do, how do they do it, since Viggo has aged greatly since he last played Aragorn? I mean, it's natural. It's the way of things. And it's not Viggo's fault, that he got older, okay? But they'd, of course, have to use de-aging tech for him. And that whole de-aging tech has yielded mixed results. Okay, I think like as terrible as Indiana Jones and the Dial of Diarrhea, the last Indiana Jones movie, as bad as that movie was, I thought that the de-aging tech in that wasn't too bad in it. The bad thing about it is they still used Harrison Ford's old ass voice, because obviously Harrison Ford, he's like 97 years old now or something. However old he is. 97-year-old Harrison Ford sounds a lot different than 40-year-old Harrison Ford from back in 1981, Raiders of the Lost Ark, right? Okay, so they still had to use Harrison Ford's old ass voice to go with the young, Raiders of the Lost Ark era appearance of Indiana Jones that they tried to get with the de-aging technique in Lord of the Rings and the Dial of Diarrhea there. So Viggo's voice, I don't know how much it's changed since the original Lord of the Rings trilogy. We'll see. It's just kind of it's a crapshoot as far as how it's going to turn out right there. Okay, but of course, Rohirrim, the War of the Rohirrim movie that I'm talking about tonight, it set the bar nice and low. So all they have to do is just clear that pathetic bar right there. So that's all they have to do. That's all they have to do. I mean, I guess that's the bright side of War of the Rohirrim is they just have to, clear, just that little bitty bar down there. So it's all they got to do. And that's what we're talking about. And, a lot of people, they're talking about if anybody tries to make them, try to watch Lord of the Rings, the War of the Rohirrim, a lot of them, they're going to have the reaction of,
no, God, please, no.
Right there. So, we've got Andy Serkis right there directing that new Gollum. Isn't Andy Serkis directing that new Gollum movie too? I don't know. Let's check it out here. Let's see. Let's check it out here. Let's cheat and see who is directing it. Last time I checked on anything for that, the Hunt for Gollum, I don't think they even had the director actually listed for that here, but I could be wrong. Hunt for Gollum. Here we go. Let's see here. And filmmakers. Let's not do that. Okay. Yeah, IMDb. So the Hunt for Gollum, it's so early in the development that IMDb is like making you get IMDb Pro to find out the particulars of, as far as who is going to direct the movie and all that stuff right there. Let's see here. No, director only has one T in it, Van. There we go. Let's do this real quick. 2026. Yeah, because there's another Hunt for Gollum movie. Apparently, it came out in 2009. You're right. Andy Serkis is directing that movie right there. Absolutely. So, and yeah, he's directed other movies. So he's not going into this blind or anything like that. So, and it's Lord says right here, yeah, he'll consider the Gollum movie there. Yeah, I mean, it's hopefully they learn their lesson from War for the Rohirrim, because I don't know if they've even started filming the Hunt for Gollum right there. So hopefully this movie, The War for Rohirrim, will be a cautionary tale there. And yeah, I heard about that new Indiana Jones video game. Is it Video James? Video James. What the hell? Indiana Jones at the Circle of, is it the Circle of Trust? Something like that. There. So who knows? But I heard, yeah, it's pretty good. There. Hopefully, I heard that they actually tried to make entertaining people the actual goal of the video game, as opposed to wokeifying the video game right there. Making the video game not DEI friendly, but just woke friendly, catering to the wokeified Generation X and that kind of thing. There, because I know what some video games, one of the big controversies is they're trying to make the women in video games, the women characters in video games, as ugly as hell. Okay, because they don't want ugly women who play video games to feel inferior and insecure and all that stuff right there. It's like, well, if you're an ugly woman or an ugly man, okay, playing a video game and you're insecure about how good looking the characters are, you've got a lot bigger problems than that right there. You need to be working on yourself as opposed to grabbing a game controller and playing a video game. There's some books you need to be reading. There's some therapists you need to be going and seeing and whatnot. So the need to play video games is very, very low on your list if you're going to be so insecure that you're going to see a good-looking video game character like, oh, I feel bad. Okay, because if that's your problem, no amount of pandering from video game creators is going to help your root problem. Okay, so eventually you're going to be doing something very, very bad, or you're going to end up in a padded room. So you've got an internal root problem to worry about there. So all right, Agent X6, hey, good to see you here, joining here in the live chat right there. So, and Agent X6 was the one that brought us that wisdom, that knowledge about the Indiana Jones game right there. So, yep, Andy Serkis is directing that. And yes, right there. So, yep, okay, yep. No wokeification confirmed by the one and only Agent X6, putting in 15 hours to that new Indiana James game right there. So, excellent. So, yeah, I'm not really big into gaming right there. Not because I don't like gaming. It's just because I don't have the discipline that obviously Agent X6 has, where I can start a video game and then stop playing it. Okay, and tend to, tend to things that I need to tend to in life and that kind of thing. Once I start playing a video game, I just can't stop. All right, so video games are like Pringles, right? Once I pop, I can't stop. Okay, there. So that's how that works right there. So, and Into Lord is 2026. No! Yeah, you're going to have to wait a while there. That is for sure. But, yeah, it's... but But yeah, we'll see. Hopefully, yeah, that Hunt for Gollum turns out better there. I think I don't know. I like Lord of the Rings and all that stuff, but I'd like to see some other original creations from some other franchises or some other books that haven't been delved into yet, and have these new original movies based on IP that hasn't been delved into, helmed, directed, produced, written by very talented people that actually care about the content there. So I don't think that's too much to ask right there. Do you? No. I mean, that should be the minimum right there. Okay. All right. So I think I feel my taste buds sending me a message, and that message is, you need to do brew review time, man. All right, come on, I'm getting thirsty. So, you know what? I know how to follow orders. So let's do a little brew review time. All right, everybody. It's time for me to show you tonight's brew. And this is a little Big Country Tex-Mex beer, or Tex-Mex lager. And this comes to us from Austin, Texas, okay? And this is a Big Country Organic Brewing Company. Okay, so it's good and organic. You don't have to worry about whether it's organic or not. It's so organic. Okay. Yeah, this is pretty good beer right there. Again, they don't skimp on the quantities right there. You gotta love that. Like I said, I like a beer that looks like a grain silo. And it's a good light beer. It's only 5.5% alcohol by volume. It's 18 on the IBU scale. That's International Bitterness Units, is what IBU stands for there. And it's not a sensational beer. It's not a mind-blowing beer or anything like that. It's a good, sitting on the bass boat, okay, and you need to cool off, and just reach in the cooler, and maybe you got a whole shitload of Big Country Tex-Mex beers up in your cooler right there. And again, you know what? You're not gonna have to bring as many, because look at the size of that thing. Look at that right there. You're getting Costco quantities of beer right here. All right. So, and it's got a crisp and dry, and hits the spot there. And it's made from this malted maize there, which I couldn't really tell in the flavor, drinking it in there and whatnot. So, but you don't need a salt, don't need a lime to go with this whatsoever. It stands on its own in the taste department, okay? But again, like I said, I'm not getting any money from this brewery or whatsoever. But all right, let me take a tug off this bad boy, because that's what beer is all about. It's not about talking about beer, it's about drinking it. So here we go. Excellent. But this is going to be, I'm going to enjoy taking a tug off this thing as we go through this episode. And you can get this beer, probably not going to be able to find it like at your local Gas and Gulp or anything like that. You're probably going to have to go someplace like the Uber Eats app, because Uber Eats delivers booze, or Open Bar. It's another app you can get on your phone, or drizzly.com. Get it there. So one way or another, you'll be able to get your hands on some Big Country right there. Yes, Tex-Mex. So they don't go all out with the label. They keep it nice and simple. Maybe they just, invest more of their money into making quality brew as opposed to making a quality lager right there. But I like that. It's kind of this very minimalist label there. So, but it's time to wrap up a little brew review time. And let's move on with the show. All right, here, let's do this here real quick, because I want to let you guys know and do you guys a favor by letting you guys know about our merch. Yes, we have Movies America merch available for you to purchase. And, just in time for the Christmas, Hanukkah, Festivus season, Kwanzaa, whatever you buy gifts for your loved ones for right there. So, as you see up there at the top left, I got a Movies America t-shirt. You don't have to get it in black. It comes in many other colors as well. And if you click on that merch link that's down in the description, you'll see there's much more than just Movies America t-shirts. Okay, there's Movies America phone cases and keychains and hell, even yoga pants there. So you can go down there and you are not going to be hurting for choices for Movies America merch. And I find so I think some of the coolest t-shirts they can get are t-shirts that advertise things that not everybody, or even mostly everybody, aren't even going to know what it is. Okay, if it's something mysterious. And you know what, I'll be honest with you, Movies America, we are not the Joe Rogan Experience, right? Not everybody knows who what this show is or who I am or anything like that. So you can get yourself some Movies America merch, like a Movies America t-shirt. Go out and we're out in public, and you're going to be looking all edgy and profound because you're wearing a shirt that features something that not everybody knows. All right, be a good conversation starter. And people are like, hey, what's Movies America? I like the sound of that. Kind of rolls off the tongue. Movies America. I like that alliteration. Movies America. All right, I dig that. And so it's a good conversation starter. Okay, and so for that reason alone, you should get yourself some Movies America merch for for Grandma and Uncle Fred and Aunt Lizzie and Mommy and all everybody that you love or at least don't loathe. Okay. Or maybe you hate the show and you're going to do like a white elephant gift exchange or something like that, and you're trying to get the lousiest, lamest gift, the white elephant gift exchange, and you hate the show. Well, hey, get yourself a lame Movies America t-shirt. All right. Your money spends just as well as everybody. Doesn't matter if you buy my stuff out of hate. All right. Money is money. Okay. So there you go. And as you see down below right there, if you put in promo code movies, you get free shipping. Okay. So how can you resist there? Get in there, get that merch right there. All right. And get the people talking. All right. Get people like, whoa, what is that? Movies America? That's pretty cool. That's just really cool. That logo looks cool. It just, wow. I want to check that out. Where can I get that? You could be the cool person, all right? You can be the person ahead of the curve to let them know where they can get their Movies America merch, okay? So that is what I am talking about there. All right, so let's do this here. What else could we say? Let's get off of War for the Rohirrim right there. I've tortured you enough. Let's check some live chats right here. And it's a Lord right there. Says, y'all have a good night. I'm getting out of the house now. Good idea. Life is too short. You got to get out of the house. You got to experience life right there. It's too short to sit and just sit and watch a show or whatever and that kind of thing. So, but thanks for stopping by. And check me out on the next episode this Sunday. And of course, no show next Thursday. There you go, because it's going to be the day after Christmas. All right. So, and right there, and Asia Gaming has been a hobby of mine or of his since he was a kid. Mostly first-person shooter types. There, yeah. It's Call of Duty was the last game that I played right there. I think it was like Modern Warfare 2, if that tells you how long ago it was. And that one was very addictive to me. So the first-person shooter. And so I had to wean myself off of that there, and so that way I didn't spend all my time, like a booger-eating 12-year-old, eating playing video games when I should have been doing more productive things right there. Okay, so all right, let's do this here real quick. I want to tell you guys all about a great sponsor that we have here, because we are trekking faster and closer to me doing a deep dive on the new Superman teaser trailer right there. But we've got things to attend to first right there. And I think you're going to enjoy this, because this sponsor of this show and other Till Death Podcast Network shows is something that you're going to want to get your hands on if you haven't already. Okay. So, no, not Halle Berry. Of course, if Some of you may want to get your hands on Halle Berry. I know I do. No, not that. Okay, it's not quite as good as that, but close. That would be Flip City Magazine. All right, and Flip City Magazine. You may be asking yourself, "Hey, Van, what is Flip City Magazine?" All right, I'm curious. What is it? All right, tell me. I've got to know. Well, remember Mad Magazine, right? Mad Magazine and Cracked Magazine. Back in the day, you could grab yourself a Mad Magazine and flip through it and get a couple of giggles here and there, or maybe just a full out belly laugh, right? Just Mad Magazine, Crack Magazine, they were very funny magazines, all right? Well, something happened in the year 2016, okay? A certain guy whose name rhymes with Frump got elected, and that broke the brains of everyone, or most everyone that worked at Mad Magazine and Cracked. Because as you would imagine, most people that work at a comedy magazine like Mad Magazine and Cracked, they don't really spend a whole lot of time learning for themselves about politics and the actual more important things in the world. They probably just depend on CNN and MSNBC and ABC and CBS and to feed them all kinds of bullshit and that kind of thing. So they get their political opinions from there. So because that's what they do, they're kind of clueless about the things of the real world. Trump getting elected broke their brains. So they went full 110% woke. Okay. And that bled into their content in their magazine, right? But not with Flip City. Okay. So Flip City, they are more than up to the challenge. They are now the supreme comedy magazine. Okay. They wipe their shoes on Mad Magazine and Crack Magazine. All right. So Flip City Magazine, they just want to make you laugh. That's their number one priority and number one priority only. Okay. They're not into lecturing, preaching, none of that stuff right there. Okay. But instead of hearing me talk all about Flip City right there ad nauseum, let's hear straight from them.
I love Flip City. It has brought new types of badassery and integrity to the print medium.
Genuinely cutting, but also funny, and obviously just chaotic and very fun.
Yeah, all right. So you should be all excited. You should be all fired up to get yourself a subscription to Flip City Magazine if you haven't already. And we are giving you zero excuses, all right? We are not helping you out in the excuse department, okay? Because we have got the Flip City link in the description down below, okay? That's all you got to do is click on that Flip City link down there and then put in promo code MOVIES and get 10% off your order of the best non-woke comic around. Okay, so I mean, imagine that. Remember those days where there's no such thing as woke and DEI and identity politics and political correctness, where everything was just all about entertaining people and that kind of thing. Everyone stayed in their lane, like comedy magazines stayed in their lane and TV shows stayed in their lane, movies stayed in their lane, okay, that kind of thing. So back when things were smarter, okay, and more enlightened and that kind of thing. But Flip City is a reminder of those days where they just want to crack you up. And I'm not bullshitting you, okay, because let me prove to you, I've got a Flip City magazine right there. Yeah. So check out Flip City. Look at that gleam. Look at that shine. Look at that glimmer right there. As you see, we got like a Walking Dead parody there. Nerdrotic is there. Obviously, got a Nerdrotic interview here. We all love Nerdrotic right there. And we've got some great artwork here on the back as well. And you'll see we got just a treasure trove of great things in this magazine. Look, got cocktail recipes there. Are you kidding me? Cocktail recipes? Oh, my God. And then we've got other stuff here. I got Trumpy Trump right there. How very, very topical. And all kinds of great stuff right there. Oh, yeah, there we go. Lots of great, another set, or another example of great artwork there. And let's see what else. Yeah, we got hotties there. And yeah, there we go. Got more artwork. I mean, just all kinds of great stuff there. So, yeah, great read, great entertainment there. So, and it's worth your time. And you're probably going to want to reread each issue right here. So, and you know what? It just enhances your toilet experience. All right. Not that I would know from experience. Yep. There we go. All right. So we're moving on. All right. Get yourselves a Flip City magazine now. All right. Let's do it. Let's do it. All right. So let's double check here. I want to make sure that I've got everything covered here. All that stuff. Do a little house cleaning here. I think we're all good to go right there. I think we're ready for my favorite segments of every Movies America spoiler warning show right there. And if you have watched even one episode of this show before, you know what my favorite segment is of every show. That is for sure. And that is the movie military moment. Oh, right. Yeah, this should have you feeling all patriotic right there. Okay, so you probably are standing up saluting right now. That's what I would imagine that you're doing right there. And you know what? That's only natural. It's only natural. It's a sweet, sweet intro right there to get you guys in the mood for a little movie military moment. Now, you guys may be wondering, hey, Van, what does the military have to do with movies right here? Well, I shall explain, okay? But for all you people that have seen plenty of my episodes before, this is your chance to sit back, lounge, because I'm explaining something you guys are already well aware of. But for any newbies out there, allow me to explain, okay, here. So what the movie, what's the connection between movies and the military? Well, as you would imagine, if you are awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor, okay, and that's what the movie military moment is all about. We honor recipients of the Congressional Medal of Honor. If you are a recipient of the Congressional Medal of Honor, you got it for doing some cool shit, okay, or some extraordinary shit, maybe is a little bit better way of putting it right there. You didn't get it for being the best ball scratcher on base or being the best letter sorter at the base post office, okay? You got it for doing something like, you're in World War I, you're in trench warfare, and you got the Germans, they're coming up on your trench, and you're mowing guys down to save your buddies, and you run out of ammo, and you see some Germans, some Krauts going after your buddies, and all you got is a grenade, and that's all you have. And so you run to the Germans, you pull the pin of your grenade, you take yourself out and them to save your buddies. Something like that, something extraordinary, something like that. Or, you're a Vietnam vet, right? And you're a tunnel rat. You're climbing, you're going through these tunnels, and in order to find the VC in their tunnels and take them out and that kind of thing. And so you find this group of VC, and you can tell they're about to attack, some of your buddies there, this squadron. But you go that in the tunnel, you mow them all down, all right? And then you're crawling back through the tunnels, and you're stabbing at the VC because they're chasing through the tunnels and whatnot. And then you climb out of the tunnel, and the VC are coming after you, and you throw a grenade down the tunnel, you blow them to bits and that kind of thing, and you just save the day. Cool, extraordinary things like that. Something where if you saw it on a movie screen, a big movie screen in front of you, you'd say, "Holy shit, that's a cool movie military moment." That is the connection, my friend, to movies right there. And so, with that being said, our honoree for this movie military moment is one Lieutenant Orlando Henderson Petty, who fought for us and earned his Congressional Medal of Honor, fighting for us in World War I. And I believe that Lieutenant Petty deserves his own badass movie military moment music, don't you? So let's take care of that right now. This is the movie military moment. And in this movie military moment, tonight we honor Lieutenant Orlando Henderson Petty, who fought for us, fought for me, and fought for you in World War I. And let's find out more about one Lieutenant Orlando Henderson Petty. For extraordinary heroism while serving with 5th Regiment U.S. Marines in France during the attack in the Bois de Boulogne, 11 June 1918. While under heavy fire of high explosive and gas shells in the town of Lucy, where his dressing station was located, Lieutenant Petty attended to and evacuated the wounded under most trying conditions. Having been knocked to the ground by an exploding gas shell which tore his mask, Lieutenant Petty discarded the mask and courageously continued his work. His dressing station being hit and demolished, he personally helped carry Captain Williams wounded through the shell fire to a place of safety. And that is what Lieutenant Petty did to be awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor, okay? And, something like that, an accomplishment like that, him being a badass like that, it's bound to make you ask, and I ask myself this all the time when I read these citations, what have I done with my day right there? And so we salute you, Lieutenant Petty, for doing what you did to be awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor. All right. And you guys don't have to wait for me to check out these citations for the Congressional Medal of Honor recipients there. You can go to cmohs.org, and you can see all these Congressional Medal of Honor recipients there and read their citations. Some are very short as far as the citation length, like Lieutenant Petty's was. Typically, like the older the war, the shorter the citations, and the newer the war or newer the conflict, the more expansive the citations are there. But yeah, check all those out. Very cool. And then if you happen to be like the family or a friend of any of the movie military moment honorees, let them know about this episode, and so that way they could check out the movie military moment for their loved one there. Because I would imagine that they would be touched, all right? They would be moved by someone paying homage to their loved one right there. I know I would if I was in their shoes right there. But yeah, just a little favor for you guys to do for me if you guys happen to be one of those people, a family or friend of one of the recipients right there. But that has been the movie military moment. All right, let's check out the live chat right here. And hey, we got Unfolding Joker here in the live chat right here. And yeah, he is just in here, just adding some flavor to the proceedings, flavor to the show right there. Good evening to you, Unfolding Joker right there. Yeah, absolutely right there. You're a hero there, like well, maybe not quite like Lieutenant Petty. Okay, he was like taking out people and getting wounded and all that stuff, but very, very, very close, very that close right there, Unfolding Joker right there. And yeah, you said what I was thinking. Damn Krauts, exactly. Start all that trouble, starting up World War I, that which was called back then the war to end all wars. How'd that work out right there? But if you guys want to see just because I brought up a recipient and talked about a recipient that earned their Congressional Medal of Honor in World War I. If you are looking for a good World War I movie, check out 1917. It's a great World War I movie there, directed by Sam Mendes, who did Skyfall and Scepter, but don't hold that against him with Scepter. Okay, Scepter was a terrible James Bond movie. Skyfall was very good, very good. He also directed American Beauty, Road to Perdition. Okay, so Sam Mendes, great director. Okay, in well, some cases. Okay, there or the I haven't seen the older version of this movie, but All Quiet on the Western Front, the Netflix version that took place in World War I, and that's a movie that's told from the German perspective. There, that movie, All Quiet on the Western Front, particularly the Netflix version, woo! You will not forget that movie anytime soon. Right there, that movie brings some moments. Okay, some very emotional, memorable moments that really just pierce your soul and pierce your memory, and they just stay up there in your head well after watching the movie. As the beer is making me burp right there. Love that. Actually, I don't love that. I don't like beer burping here on the show because it makes me look like an imbecile. Okay. But let me let you guys know here real quick here while it's top of mind that if you guys are appreciating this show enough to where you're like, hey, you know what? Let's throw this knucklehead Van. Let's throw him $1 or $2 or whatever. Okay. Well, you can do that. Okay. So if you're on Rumble, you can give me what's called a Rumble rant and throw a little money my way if you are so inclined. You don't have to. But the way you do that in Rumble is if you're in the live chat on Rumble or in Rumble, down by where you type in your live chat message, there's a button with a $sign on it down there. And you just got to click on that. It'll just ask you how much cashola you want to send my way. And that's it. Very easy. Or if you're checking me out on YouTube, if you're on the tube of views, you can give me what's called a super chat. And that's very easy, very similar to how you do it on Rumble. Down by where you type in your live chat in YouTube, just click on the button that has a dollar bill on it, and it'll ask you how much you want to donate my way. And just as easy, all right? It's a very easy there to show a little financial appreciation my way. If you appreciate like the movie Military Moment, or me letting you know whether a movie is crap, or me giving you an opportunity, when I'm talking about a movie that's worthy of being excited and passionate about, when I'm doing an episode about a movie like that, if you appreciate me giving you the opportunity to just unleash in the live chat about a movie and discuss it and have a good convo about a movie. If you appreciate me providing that opportunity for you, because there's not a whole lot of shows on YouTube or Rumble that do that. Most movie shows are like pre-recorded. You just play them and watch them, and you don't get a chance to interact with the host whatsoever. You don't get to watch them and go, wait, that point you just made, I don't agree with that. I got some stuff to say to you. Okay, this show you have that opportunity. Okay, if I'm doing a show, obviously I'm doing the show live and I'm giving my perspective. The live chat is your opportunity to get in a live chat and say, hey, Van, you like this movie? You're smoking crack, man. I hate this movie. Here's the reasons why. Reason number 1, reason number 2, or something like that. Or, if you like the movie too, and you're like, hey, Van, make sure to talk about this scene in this movie right here. Me doing this live and having the live chat available, that provides you with the opportunity to do that right there. So again, just all what I just spewed out. That's my sales technique to get some moolah from you. That's my sales pitch right there. Did it work? I don't know. We'll see. If you're appreciating that enough to at least throw $1 my way, or whatever, or $500. Okay, maybe got a tasty raise at work, and you want to show a little generosity my way. I don't know why you would want to do that, but if you're feeling extra generous tonight, by all means, you can do that via a Rumble rant or a YouTube super chat there, and that is enough money talk from me for tonight. Okay. All right, let me take a little swig off this beer, and then we will get to what probably most people watch the show have been waiting for with this episode right here, and that is the Superman trailer deep dive. All right, so let's. But first things first. Oh yeah, there we go. Enough about that right there. Okay. So let's move into the Superman trailer here and get right into that. And so let me give you guys a minute. If you guys if you guys know any friends, or family or anything like that, that you're like, oh man, they love Superman. I bet they'd want to hear, they want to do, take part in a deep dive over the Superman trailer and lend their, voice their opinions in a live chat about the Superman trailer, to me, because that's what you can do. While I'm going through the Superman trailer in the live chat, you can, throw a, comment to me in the live chat about what you think of the trailer. Maybe you love it, maybe you hate it. You can talk, to each other in the live chat about the Superman trailer. If you're like me, love throwing snarky comments out there about a trailer that you don't like. Hey, the live chat is your chance to do that. You can go crazy. Become the snark shark you knew you could be right there in the live chat. So all that to say, get in the live chat and let's talk about this Superman trailer, shall we? So let's bring this bad boy up, and I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna play it, but I'm going to interrupt it periodically there and whatnot. So I'm gonna play it all the way through once, and then, just in case someone here has not seen it right there, I'm going to have to pause it every once in a while and put some dialogue over this so that Warner Brothers doesn't crack the friggin' copyright claim whip on me. So, all right, here we go. So right there, you're getting a good side look at the Superman costume here. James Gunn, the director of this movie, is going back old school. He's doing the red trunks on the outside. So that's why today, when I went out and did my grocery shopping, I made sure to pay tribute to this by wearing my underwear outside of my pants there. So got some odd looks, but once I explained to them why I was doing it, I still got the same odd looks, but that's my homage. That's my tribute there, because you know what? I care. So I got the Daily Planet right there, like the globe there. It's hindering, or it's staying truer to the Daily Planet from the comic books. From James Gunn, the writer of Dawn of the Dead. Rachel Brosnahan, probably saw her in what is that? The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel there, and then she was in House of Cards there briefly. I'll admit, when I first saw this scene right here, I was like, had a brief panic moment because I thought, oh my God, did they use Rob Reiner in this movie? But no, it's not. That's Pruitt Taylor Vince playing Paul Kent. That's cool visual right there. So it's right when he whistled, I was like, okay. So this must be when Crypto Superdog is going to show up. Kind of looks like a snowy version of the sandworms from the Dune movies, right?
Crypto. Home. Take me home.
We had Nicholas Hoult there. He's been in a lot of movies here recently. So with Juror number 2, and he's going to be in Nosferatu that's coming out here on Christmas Day. So, and he's been in a lot of movies. Of course, he was in Mad Max Fury Road as well.
Superman.
So as you can tell, right, we're gonna get a lot of character introductions in this one right here. This is not gonna be like Man of Steel, Zack Snyder's Man of Steel right there, where really the only bad guys was, Zod, and his entourage. There you go. Wow, actual kissing, a man and a woman kissing in movies, in a movie right there. That's weird because if you guys notice like that weird trend here in the last year, 2 or 3, where you have a man and a woman, they never kiss, they just bump their heads. It's like put forehead to forehead. What is that all about? So it already looks like there's going to be more action in this than in Superman Returns. So remember Superman Returns from 2006, where Brandon Routh played Superman. He had Kate Bosworth and He Who Shall Not Be Named, Kevin Spacey, playing Lex Luthor. So that was one of the knocks on Superman Returns, is it doesn't have enough action. So I don't think that is going to be a problem with this Superman movie. So we're going to have to wait a while. July 11th, that is, no time soon whatsoever. So we're going to have to go through, a January and February, probably some substandard movies. But we're going to have to wait till July 11th right there. But, it's, it leaves you wanting more. It gets that anticipation level up. And I will be seeing this in IMAX. That is for sure right there. There's no doubt of that. Okay, so, but yeah, if you guys haven't seen the trailer, if maybe that was your first time you've seen the trailer, let me know in the live chat what you think. At least give me a thumbs up in the live chat or a thumbs down in there if you're not feeling particularly wordy tonight in the live chat there. So, or in the comments, if you're watching this later on, at least give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down in the comments. Let me know what you think of this Superman teaser trailer. Okay. Now, keep in mind, this is just the teaser trailer. Okay. This is not the finished movie. Okay. So there's probably some shots in here, or there might be some shots here that are unfinished. They haven't got the polish on them that you'll see in the final product that you'll see on July 11th there. So, and it is very vague as far as the plot. It's you can't even compare a teaser trailer to the experience of the entire movie, obviously, right? So that's why I don't just flip the hell out based on a teaser trailer. I have the attitude of, I'm just going to wait and see. I'm going to judge the movie. Judge the movie's merits on the actual movie. Okay, not the teaser trailer. Okay, but let's go through that trailer again here, and just going to do more of a deep dive and pause on some scenes as we go through this. So I don't know if that might be up near the Fortress of Solitude, because we've got this snowy, this wintry terrain here. So I don't know how he would have gotten to this part there. Obviously, he's very seriously hurt, and James Gunn is trying to stave off that often heard criticism of Superman of, the guy's indestructible. Okay, he's practically invincible. So it's hard to get into the movies because the stakes aren't very high. Although, I mean, in Man of Steel, he was going up against Zod and party, Zod and his entourage, who obviously are from Krypton as well, so they have the same same powers and that kind of thing. Their powers are given to them by a yellow sun and not a black hole sun. And then also in Superman Returns, Superman was not invincible in that because Lex Luthor, used kryptonite against him there, so he wasn't indestructible in that. Superman 2, again, Zod and party was in Superman 2. Superman, I'm not going to mention Superman 4, The Quest for Peace, or Superman 3. Those Superman movies aren't even worth mentioning whatsoever. And of course, in the first Superman, he had Lex Luthor. He was hanging the krypton, the kryptonite from Superman. He had that big chain with the kryptonite attached to it there, and he threw Superman into his pool, into his little Lex lair there in the first Superman. So I say like most Superman movies, if not all of them, have done a good job at putting Superman in situations that show he is not invincible or he's not all powerful. He has been gotten to by villains and that kind of thing. So. So again, you're seeing pretty good shot of the new Superman suit here. You're getting the red trunks there. You're getting the Superman logo on the back of the cape because in Man of Steel they did away with the red trunks and the Superman logo on the cape, all as part of Zack Snyder's attempt to really steal the super serious, furrowed brow, super seriousness of Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy right there, because the grounded, realistic vibe of the Dark Knight trilogy was in vogue right back in 2013 when Man of Steel came out. And so because those movies made a shitload of money, Warner Brothers was like, well, we want that same vibe. We want that same real world, super serious vibe for Man of Steel. Okay, so we will not be having a Superman logo on the back of the cape, and we sure as hell will not be having red trunks. Okay, that's too corny for our super serious Superman. Again, they didn't even ever call him Superman. I don't think they ever called him Superman in Man of Steel, right? In there, because that would have been, again, too corny for that movie. That movie was supposed to be super serious, and we take Superman. We take Kal-El very seriously in this super serious Zack Snyder movie. Okay, and so that was the vibe of that day. Now James Gunn is taking a total departure from that, because I can't imagine James Gunn doing a super serious movie like that, because James Gunn, his movies all have a more lighter tone. They're a little bit more aloof, or full of humor, and of course, full of pop music hits and that kind of thing. So that's one thing about this Superman movie. I hope it's not playing pop hits. I hope they don't drop the needle ad nauseum in this movie. I mean, if they pepper it in here or there, that's fine. But I hope it's not like Suicide Squad, the first one, not the good one. The Suicide Squad is a good movie directed by James Gunn. Suicide Squad is a terrible movie, at least the theatrical version. Release the Ayer cut of Suicide Squad, please. But the theatrical cut of Suicide Squad sucked, and part of the reason it sucked is because it kept just dropping the needle, all these songs left and right. I hope that this Superman movie, this one coming out in July, doesn't drop the needle too often there. Okay, because even if it drops the needle as often as they did in the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, even that's going to be too much for this movie. Let's press on. All right, little internet problem there. There we go. Well, that's a good view of I don't know what that haircut is. I think they're kind of overdoing it with the hair there and trying to disguise Clark Kent, disguise Superman, as Clark Kent right there. Almost looks like Darth Pinder, from the Deadpool movies there, or something like that. It's pretty much just looks like a really bad toupee on his head there. And so as you'll see here, it almost looks like even this guy right here on the side looks at him like, really? Is that your real hair? They should have included a line here like Tug Whiteman from Dodgeball, like, no one makes me bleed my own blood. But apparently Superman he's taking an ass whooping from somebody here. So this is where I'm kind of confused here because, okay, I thought that James Gunn, just from the look of the trailer, my initial look at the trailer here, the very first time I watched this teaser trailer, I thought maybe he was going for an 80s, like a 70s, 80s vibe here, because you can just tell from the clothes that the characters, the clothes of the people here in the trailer, they look like they're from the 80s at least, right here, So I thought maybe he was going for a more vintage 70s, 80s look here. But there's flat screen TVs mounted up here in the Daily Planet, okay, which is I don't know what the deal is with this. It's like a mix of eras, you got 80s era clothes with present day technology. So I don't know. Hopefully the movie is so good that I'm not going to care about that. I'm just going to be like, okay, it's just James Gunn going for something off the wall. Who knows? So you got something happen to Clark Kent right there, which I think we all, if you're still single, you would all want to have happen to you at work. You've got a very attractive, luminous coworker checking you out. All right, there. Okay, so that's a good day right there. Okay, and then we see Clark here do in a second what's a lot of us dudes do, like, oh, I'm gonna check you out. Oh, she sees me, and then you're gonna kind of look away, like, oh yeah, I wasn't looking at you at all. You're gonna do that move. Oh, she caught me looking at her. Oh, I'm gonna look away. So I'm guessing this is in the James Gunn version of Smallville, out here in the country, out in the boonies of Smallville here. Let me take a little tug off this here real quick. I got a frog in my throat. Excellent. Again, big country, Tex-Mex lager. Get you some. And that is, like I said before, that's Pruitt Taylor Vince. He's a character actor that if you guys saw him, no doubt you guys will be like, oh, yeah, that guy right there. Okay, I know that guy. I mean, he was he was in Red Heat way back in the 80s. Remember Red Heat? Arnold Schwarzenegger, Jim Belushi. Okay, Schwarzenegger's playing this Russian cop, comes over to Chicago, and Jim Belushi's a Chicago guy. He was in Red Heat way back in the 80s. He's also been in underappreciated movie that I like called Identity. He was in that movie as well, pretty good. It's been a lot of movies there. So Pruitt Taylor Vince, and of course, obviously we have David Corn Sweat playing Superman / Clark Kent. What a tender father-son moment there. This summer. Whistle while you work, or I guess whistle while you're laying there after a good ass whooping from somebody. Again, like I said before, I like that visual right there because, yeah, that is like, the wintry version of the sandworms from Dune right there. So that is just like Paul Atreides is about to surf down off the mountain and come down, and maybe he's riding this snowy sandworm or snow worm is what we would call that, but it is not. It begins.
Crypto.
So Crypto is in this, and so right off the bat, that tells you that, yeah, this is not, a Zack Snyder super serious Superman movie here. This is going to be more comic booky, more lights, and kind of a harken back to the 70s, 70s and 80s Superman movies. Because think about it. You had Otis, right? Ned Beatty. You had Miss Tessmacher, from the first Superman movie, and then Otis got done dirty in Superman too, because Miss Tessmacher and Gene Hackman's Lex Luthor left Otis twisting in the wind in prison while they took off. What the hell's up with that, right? And Miss Tessmacher, she betrayed Lex Luthor in the first movie, yet she gets to hang out with Lex Luthor, and Otis, faithful Otis, is twisting in the wind in prison. That's jacked up. But you would never. The point is, you would never have Otis or a Miss Tessmacher character in a Zack Snyder movie because those characters are too goofy and outlandish and not serious. So they would never have that. And they would definitely, in a Zack Snyder Superman movie, you would definitely not have Crypto the super dog in it whatsoever. So right off the bat, when I saw Crypto was going to be in this Superman movie, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, this is not going to be this super serious, real world, kind of earthy, grounded Superman movie.
Home. Take me home.
So I like this right there. This is, we'll keep playing the trailer, but I think this is my favorite shot of the trailer right here because it shows Superman doing what he should be doing, protecting the innocent right there, particularly children. Okay, like this little girl right there. So it's always cool. That's one of the favorite things, my favorite things of a Superman movie. Seeing Superman save people right here, particularly little girls, little children here, while whoever is causing this destruction here almost gets this little girl killed, but not. But but thank God to Superman for saving her life right there. But it's a very cool visual. I like the visual here. The visual effects are good. And then we see our first look at God, I just said his name earlier, Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor here, and what looks like is that Stark Tower, but it's not, obviously. That's one thing I don't get about this. Okay, so usually it's LexCorp, not Luthor Corps. So I don't know what's going on with that. Is that maybe a naming rights kind of thing or something like that? Or maybe he's going to call it LexCorp later on in the movie. It's kind of a trivial thing, but I do like the building here. It's kind of cool. It's got like the Skyway here, there between these two massive glass towers here. Very, very cool. I like this depiction of Metropolis. It's and just the color grading, the white balance of this movie here. It's just more. It's sunnier. It's brighter than you saw in Man of Steel. Now, I don't mind a movie having a dark tone to it. Like say David Fincher's Seven, right, or Fight Club, or I can't think of any other movies that fit the bill there. But every once in a while, but I have no problem with a movie also having a lighter exposure. So right there, he's got like this old timey revolver there. I don't know if Lex is intimidating somebody, like he's in the middle of some kind of a torture scene. He's maybe got somebody tied up to a chair, and instead of using a rope with some knots in the bottom of it to take a good whack at someone's balls, they're not trying to steal from Casino Royale. Maybe he's playing a little Russian roulette here. Who knows?
Superman.
So that looks like, to go back a little bit, that looks like that is in like some fictitious country that looks like India. There, you're going to see a little bit later on in the trailer. There's a very quick, don't blink or you'll miss it, news headline there. It looks like this country is like called Boravia or something like that. Don't quote me on that. But obviously something is going down to make the natives like scurry as quickly as you possibly can. Some danger, Will Robinson, danger is happening here. So who knows?
Superman.
So right there, we've got Superman, and he just looks like you got an angry crowd right there. I don't know. Apparently, he's done something that is at least perceived to be bad enough to where, in the court of public opinion, Superman is a scumbag. He's evil. He's no good. He's rotten. Okay, and so he's got the audience. He's got the audience. He's got the people against him there. So kind of like what Batman was going for at the end of the Dark Knight, right? He was trying to protect the reputation of Harvey Dent, so he took on the blame for all the killing and that kind of thing that Harvey Dent did, so that the Joker wouldn't win. So maybe it's something like that where Superman is taking the blame for something maybe he didn't even do, okay? Or he did something, but Lex Luthor is doing some kind of smear campaign against him, or somebody's doing a smear campaign against Superman to get the people against him, which, as we've seen in the last few years in real life, it's not that hard, to get the media or somebody to turn people against other people, that kind of thing. There's a lot of dopes, a lot of morons that'll believe anything that the news tells them. Okay, there's a lot of morons who are like, well, the guy, he works in a high-rise in New York City. He's sitting behind a desk, and he makes 7 figures. So he's got to be the news guy, the talking head on the news, got to be telling the truth, right? He's rich. He works in a high-rise in New York City. And as we all know, the higher the floor you work in a building, and the more money you make, the more truthful and honest you are, right? Like you got a lot of dummies in real life that actually fall for that crap. Like Lester Holt, he works on the 35th floor of some building, and he makes a lot of money. Lester Holt must be telling the truth, right? So as we tell, as part of my tangent, it's not hard to picture in this movie. Someone using a smear campaign to smear Superman. Who knows? But again, another thing that makes me anticipating, or heightens my anticipation for this movie coming out this July. It looks like he's in a building, a Stag Industries building right there, which is a corporation there that you see in the comics there. So they've got like a Stag. They make they have gas stations called Stag stops around Gotham City and Metropolis and all that stuff. So we have various gas stations in real life. Well, in the comic books, they have gas stations called Stag stops there. So just a big old corporation. So that is. See if we can go back here. So there's Nathan Fillion. Now let me get a better angle on that. There we go. Okay. So there's Nathan Fillion. He's playing the Guy Gardner, Green Lantern. There. It looks like he's trying to help out Superman. Maybe like using his powers to maybe weld the doors shut or something like that, so that the angry mob doesn't get there. But now, the first thing you may notice in this is the god-awful Lloyd Christmas hair on Guy Gardner here. Now, believe it or not, there is Guy Gardner, in some iterations of Guy Gardner in the comic books, does have that goofy bowl cut there. He does look like Lloyd Christmas or Uncle Fester, from Adam Family Values. In some of the comic books, that's the depiction of Guy Gardner in some comics there. So I don't know why, but there's also other iterations of Guy Gardner where he's just got this hair kind of up and stuff, not looking all goofy like this. But that's the thing about James Gunn. James Gunn is, he likes to add quirkiness into his movies. Now, not near as bad as like Wes Anderson or anything like that, or Tim Burton. Not as quirky as those directors, but quirky nonetheless. And we have Hawk Girl there, and Hawk Girl, she's played by Isabella Merced, who was probably most recently probably just saw her in Alien Romulus in that movie right there. She's the one in Alien Romulus that was pregnant in Alien Romulus right there, and something not so good happened to Isabella Merced in Alien Romulus there. And then she was also in the god-awful Madam Web way earlier in this year there as well. I first saw Isabella Merced. So I remember Sicario, Day of the Soldado, and they had the little girl that Benicio del Toro had to protect. Well, that's Isabella Merced. Isabella Merced, when she was in Sicario, Day of the Soldado, she was much younger than she is in this movie coming up here. But that's Isabella Merced. We got some pretty good, what looks like some pretty good visual effects right here. I do like the fire effects in here. It's got like that good, clear, crisp density to the fire there, and I like the creature effects here. Apparently, if we go back a little bit, all right. So let's see here. Okay, so see Superman way over there on the far left, on the end of the receiving end of that fire. I got Superman taking that on from this massive creature. And again, you get to see another good look at Metropolis. There is much sunnier version of Metropolis than we've seen in other iterations of Metropolis. This almost looks like Nashville or Memphis or something. So then here we see a continuous, like a live action version of that first image, the very first image from this Superman movie that we all saw, that where there was much controversy, much dialogue about, where it was the image of Superman. He's sitting in the chair, and looks like he's lacing up his boots or putting on his boots, and then you see whatever that is, in the background, looks like it's attacking the city or something like that. I don't know, that's something from Brainiac or something like that. But here we see a live action snippet from that scene right here, obviously with Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane and Superman, of course. And then again, yes, thank God, finally, a man and a woman kissing in a movie that's come out here. As I adjust my dry contact lens there we go. Very embarrassing. So we get to see a man and a woman kissing in a movie right there, because it was like this, I don't know, this anti-heterosexual campaign or vibe or movement or whatever, or just, what's the word I'm looking for here, but attitude, I guess, when you're making a movie where people thought it was too cliche and predictable to show men and women kissing in a movie. So they just did that stupid ass modern audience tactic of just having them touch foreheads. What the hell is that? What the hell? What is this? Is this like an offshoot of the Me Too movement or something like that, where you can't have a woman and a man kissing? Like, that's one thing that annoyed me about that movie Twisters, okay, where you have Glenn Powell and Daisy Edgar Jones, rendezvousing in the airport at the end of Twisters, and it clearly looked like, okay, he's going in for a kiss, she's going in for a kiss, and they don't kiss. And then Daisy Edgar Jones explained in an interview or somewhere after Twisters, after the movie came out, like, oh yeah, we didn't have a kiss because we thought it'd be too predictable, too cliche. Who cares about predictable? People want to see what they want to see. They want to see some emotion, some passion in movies right there. So, but it's one of the things that grinds my gears. So right there, I'm trying to place, and let me know in the live chat. Let me know, what is this robot here? I don't know what that is, what character that would be. Someone might be watching this, whether you're watching this live right now or you're watching the recording of this and going, how can you not know who that robot is? That's somebody really obvious. Not to me. Okay, I have no idea what that is right there, but I'm curious. It's obviously the Fortress of Solitude there. I don't know if that's looks like it's being first created or something like that. But from what I'm told, this Superman movie is dropping you in the middle of Superman's career or stint as Superman. This is not supposed to be like an origin story for Superman, unless maybe this is a flashback showing how the Fortress of Solitude was created in this particular universe. Who knows? So we had Lex Luthor right there. He's injured. He's pissed. We have no idea why. Maybe Superman foiled his plans or something like that. So who knows? Oh, there's that. There we go. Let's do this. There we go. That's that don't blink or you'll miss it, the news headline I was talking about. So Baravian troops amassing at border. Current level of threat. Live reports coming in from the Baravian border. GBS News there. So something is happening there where these Baravian troops need to amass at the border. I mean, what could it be? Is Lex Luthor launching some kind of attack? Is maybe because you got Metamorpho, that's a character that's going to be in this movie, and you've got maybe Brainiac in this, like some kind of villain, or Lex Luthor. Lex Luthor's a villain, obviously, attacking this country. I imagine it was called Baravia, is what I'm guessing. And here's this little boy that we saw earlier with the flag calling to Superman for help here. Let me go back here a little bit. Trying to read that sign. I think it says Meteors. I'm guessing maybe Metropolis has a baseball team called the Metropolis Meteors. And that looks, who is he fighting? Okay, so I can't tell who that is. Mr. Terrific's in this movie too, so. There we go. All right. And I forget what that guy's name is. Again, I'm not an avid comic book reader right there. So, but again, if you want to show what a dumbass I am and put in the live chat, hey, who's that character right there? By all means. So show me up, or in the comments if you're watching this later on. All right. So you got a force field there. Looks like maybe some drones there providing a force field, a force shield there. No, not the drones flying around, not the unknown drones flying around the states nowadays here. So different drones. Got a nice little romantic moment there between Lois Lane and Superman. Looks like Superman's got a pretty nice place there. And looks like maybe he's in for a good night with Lois Lane. Who knows? All right. So that is the deep dive on the new the new teaser trailer for the new Superman movie coming out in July. So yeah, let me know. what you guys think about the deep dive. Let me know what you think about the trailer there. Now, as you would imagine here, as my contact, this contact is driving me nuts. So yeah, with every comic book movie, any movie based on a comic book character, you are going to get all kinds of debate. You're going to have, there's very little neutral, passive opinions about this kind of stuff right here. And hey, Mr. Scott Awesome, howdy to you there, partner. Welcome to the show. Good to see you right there. Invasion America. That's a good name for a movie right there. I like that. Coming this summer, Invasion America. You will buy the whole seat, but you will only need the edge. Yes. Okay, probably made you not want to see that movie now, but Invasion America. There you go. Coming to a theater near you. But Mr. Scott Awesome, yeah, welcome to the show right there. We're just wrapping up the Superman teaser trailer deep dive right there. But yeah, let me know what you think about the movies with the Superman trailer. But oh yeah, where was I going with it? So yeah, so as you would imagine with this teaser trailer for Superman, you've got the crowd made up of probably a lot of Snyderverse fans that hate this trailer, and since they're Snyderverse fans, they're gonna hate everything about this movie because it's not Zack Snyder making this movie. All right, Zack Snyder, he's my idol. I like Zack Snyder. He's very good. All right. Or you've got the DC fans in general, where they're not just relegated to being a Snyder fan. They are open to, hey, Snyder makes a good Superman movie, or he makes a dog shit Superman movie, or maybe James Gunn, he's going to make a good Superman movie, or his movie is going to be dog shit. They're just very neutral. They're open-minded. Where the Snyderverse fans, the DC Snyderverse fans, are not open-minded. They are just like, oh well, if it's not Zack Snyder directing it, I hate this. I hate this movie. I hate man. Now I'm sure there's exceptions to the rule, of course, as there is with everything, right? And then you got the James Gunn fans. Most of them are gonna love this trailer, and oh yeah, it's my boy James Gunn. Hell yeah, love it right there. Gotta love that. I'm gonna love this movie. It's gonna be fantastic. There, and then you've got the people that just aren't. They're not into DC. They don't have any strong opinions about DC or Zack Snyder or James Gunn. They're going to just be completely just kind of passive, just kind of like, oh, okay, that's a Superman teaser trailer. Okay, I like this, but I don't like that. So they're kind of they're very unpassionate about Superman and all that stuff right there. So it's kind of a mixed bag, but it was fun checking out X today and Facebook and just seeing just the tidal wave of different opinions there. And I'd say it's mixed. If I had to give like a consensus off the top of my head, it's a mixed bag of opinions today. I saw people complaining about the cinematography, complaining about Crypto the dog being in it, too many characters, complaining about Guy Gardner's goofy haircut. But I also had people saying, hey, this trailer teared them up, got them all emotional because it reminded them of the 70s and 80s Superman. And maybe they went and saw the 70s and 80s Superman movies like with their dad or their grandpa or some other relative that's no longer with us, and they got all teary-eyed. What's some other thing? Like they liked the romantic aspect, of Lois Lane and Superman, Clark Kent. They like the special effects. They like the sunnier disposition of the movie, the sunnier, brighter look to the. And so it's just a lot of different takes and opinions about this teaser trailer today. There, all right. Well, that has been my deep dive about the Superman trailer right there. Okay, so before I'm going to move into my next segment here, take another tug off this bad boy. All right. Because, yeah, I got some, definitely got some content for you to check out here. So while I get this set up here, I'm going to go over and want to talk about. I want to go over or laugh about Screen Rant's top 20 list here. So let's do this. Right, and get over here. And let's get that out of there because I want to give you some visual aids as we go through the top 20. So Screen Rant's 20 best movies of 2024. And I wanted to show you this because there are some ludicrous choices that they have in their list right here. So, and it's, yeah, you'll see what I mean here in just a second here. Some of them, some of the movies, there's some movies in here where I'm going to like I like the movies and I like where they're at on the list, but not very many whatsoever. Okay, so let's move on here. Skip that stupid. That's what we're going to deal with, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Unfortunately, in this, going on this website right here, you're going to see a bunch of stupid ads pop up here. But here it is. What we will soon be laughing at, or at least I will be laughing at, or I have already laughed at. Screen Rant's 20 best movies of 2024 here. This is this list is a trip right here. So, and some of these movies I just haven't seen. So some of these movies I'm not going to have a whole lot to say about. All right, let's get to 20. Baby Girl. Now, I have not seen this movie yet. I don't know if it's even out for general audiences quite yet here. This is the movie with Nicole Kidman. She plays like the CEO of some big old company, and they hire some young dude that she's into, and they start like this. She's because Nicole Kidman, she's married in this movie to Antonio Banderas, and then this young whippersnapper, this sexy young whippersnapper, played by Harris Dickinson, who you may have seen from he was in the Iron Claw, played one of the wrestling brothers in that. He was in the Triangle of Sadness. Probably hardly anybody saw that movie, but yeah, so it's like an erotic thriller there. So I don't know. I can't laugh at this one because I don't know if it should be at number 20 or it should be nowhere near this top 20 list right there. So it may be very, very good. So we're going to move right past that. Abigail at number 19 there as my mouse gets away from me. This movie was all right. This is not a movie that I have a big problem with being on this list or where it's in this movie. This movie could have been so much more. This is a movie where you've got these professional thieves, and they're hired by somebody to break into this, basically to kidnap this little girl and then take her to this mansion to wait for a ransom to be paid. And it turns out the little girl is a vampire. Okay. And so it's just basically this series, or this whole movie is basically about this little girl vampire just creating havoc and that kind of thing. And so it missed the boat. It could have been much more sly and slick and biting. Biting in a sense of humor. It had plenty of biting. She is a vampire after all. Okay. And it just went on for too long. I thought that what's his face here, Dan Stevens, did a good job as a character in this as well. He was very slimy in this, but yeah, it is promoted as a horror movie, but it's not horror. It's not scary at all. It's actually more funny than it is scary here. So particularly once you know the premise, but it's got a good premise. They just didn't execute it very well. And we're going to move on to number 18, Flow. I have not seen this movie whatsoever. It's obviously an animated movie right there, so I'm not going to have much to say about that. And let's move on to number 17, Hitman. I think Hitman should be much higher on this list right here. It should be at least in the top 15. Hitman's a great movie. Now, if you're one of those people that are like, no non-theatrical release should be on anybody's top movie list of 2024, well, sorry. All right. Apparently Screen Rant does not feel the same way. But Hitman is a great movie here. Glenn Powell just fucking rocks it in Hitman here. He plays so many different characters in this movie so well. Glenn Powell and Adria Arjona, if I'm saying her name correctly, probably not because I'm an ugly American. They have great chemistry in this movie. It is just undeniable, very sexy chemistry that they have. Glenn Powell, I think the intriguing thing about his character is that he plays like this nerdy college professor, but on the side he helps out the cops with trying to entrap people. Okay. And to try to trap them into crimes and that kind of thing. So so they hire him to to go after different victims or different perps and that kind of thing. So they're trying to catch people. And one of the people that wants to hire him as a fake hitman is Adria Arjona's character there. But in the movie, he's got a very sharp screenplay to it. But the highlight of the movie is Glenn Powell there and his performance in this. He's just hilarious in his performance. Very, what's the word? He's just like all the different characters that he plays. It's kind of like James McAvoy in the movie Split, where he's got all those split personalities that he plays there. And I think that Glenn Powell in Hitman does an even better job because he's just playing all these hilarious characters in this movie. But it's an unpredictable movie. It's a movie that's going to keep you on your toes, and it's from Richard Linklater, who directed Glenn Powell a number of years back. He was in it. Basically, Richard Linklater, he did Days of Confused back in the day, and then there was a sequel to Days of Confused, like a spiritual sequel to Days of Confused, called Everybody Wants Some, and Glenn Powell was in that movie there. So Richard Linklater is a good director there. But great movie, Hitman. Hitman, I'd put it like at number 12 in my top 20 list right there. So great movie. Check that out on Netflix there. It's one of the rare good Netflix movies because most Netflix movies suck ass. Okay. And then number 16 is another Glenn Powell movie, Twisters. And yes, so if you put Hitman above, if you put Hitman at 12, or I would put it would obviously be before Twisters, because Hitman is a better movie than Twisters there. But Twisters, it wasn't bad. It's just it's exactly what it is. It's Twister plural. Okay, it's got multiple twisters in it. It's not. It's good for one watch there because it's got some new, cool, and exciting things for you to see, and a thriller based on tornadoes, right? And Glenn Powell is very magnetic in the movie there. I'm sure the ladies like watching Glenn Powell in Twisters there. It's like a good feel good party movie to go check out. It's got a decent soundtrack. Most of it's country music, and I can't stand country music, but it's kind of like, good time, party time country music right there that fits within the locale of Twisters because they're in Oklahoma. Okay. You're probably not going to be playing gangster rap, in a movie where they're chasing twisters across Oklahoma, right? Okay. So it's going to be like lighthearted, kind of, contemporary country music and that kind of thing. So yeah, you're going to have basically a country gasm if you're a big country music fan with the soundtrack to Twisters here. But it's got some fun supporting characters in it as well. It also has David Cornsweet in Twisters there, and we were just talking about David Cornsweet a lot because David Cornsweet is the new Superman that we just saw a lot of in the Superman trailer right there. But David Cornsweet plays one of the storm chasers, the tornado chasers in this movie there. So yeah, and it's directed by Lee Isaac Chung, who I had never ever heard of, but he's like a Chinese immigrant that I don't know if he was born in China or he was born over here, but he grew up in Arkansas. Okay, And then, of course, he loved the original movie Twister with Bill Paxton and Helen Hunt. But he grew up in Arkansas, and they had a lot of tornadoes there because Arkansas, I believe, is considered part of Tornado Alley, okay? Like Oklahoma and northern Texas and all that stuff right there. So Twisters was probably like a passion project for him there. So Lee Isaac Chung, that is. So Twisters, yeah, I have no problem with where it's at on the list here. 15, The Substance. This is a tragedy. There is no substance to this pick, to this placement of this movie. The Substance should be in the top 5 of this list right here. The Substance is that good, okay? And Demi Moore deserves a Best Actress Oscar nomination for this. I think she's already gotten a Golden Globe nomination for this movie, but The Substance, it's something, all right? I also think like Dennis Quaid should get like a Best Supporting Actor nomination for this because Dennis Quaid is just convincingly plays like this hilariously slimy character in this movie. But so The Substance is about Demi Moore, and she plays like this formerly very successful actress. Sound familiar? I mean, she didn't have to stretch in this performance very, very much, except for some aspects of her performance in this movie. She definitely has to give her all in this movie. She gives her performance her all in this movie, and it's to be admired. But she plays this formerly very world famous actress, an Oscar winning actress in this movie. I think she's called like Sprinkles, Elizabeth Sparkle. There we go, Elizabeth Sparkle. I should just cheat and look at the synopsis right here. But yeah, she plays this celebrity, formerly famous actress called Elizabeth Sparkle, who's like she's at the Jane Fonda stage of her career in this movie because she's the star of a fitness show. Well, now to Hollywood. She's sold that she's even in danger. She's about to get kicked off of this workout show. And Dennis Quaid is her producer, her boss of the show, and he basically fires her from the show for basically to get somebody younger. Okay, so she's obviously depressed about that. She realizes men don't look at her the same way because she's older. So she's so desperate, she goes out and she's at the doctor's office recovering from a car accident. And the nurse says, "Oh, you're a perfect candidate for this stuff called The Substance." And so she gets I think she slips like a flash drive in her pocket. She watches the flash drive, and it's a promo for this substance. And the substance is basically, do you want to be a younger you? Do you want to get back to your prime where you're young and everybody loved you and all that stuff? So that's the pitch, right? That's the pull. So she goes out, she buys the substance. There's specific instructions to the substance. You take the substance, and then she thinks like there's going to be a brand new you. It's going to turn her into her younger, hotter, sexier self of yesteryear. And then, but she finds out that no, it doesn't quite work that way. And there's specific instructions, and if you deviate from these instructions on how to use a substance, some very horrific, gory circumstances happen. Okay. And so it wouldn't be a good movie if there weren't some calculations and part of the plot involves the characters not following those very specific, strict instructions there. And they don't follow the strict instructions, and some very horrific, some of the most gory things that you'll ever see on the screen happen in The Substance. But it's a very captivating, very well-written movie. Fantastic. Should be in the top 5. It's ludicrous. It's ludicrous, okay? Ludicrous, as Mike Tyson would say, for The Substance to be at number 15 of a list right here. That's why I'm laughing at this list right here. So that's a travesty right there. Number 14, Inside Out 2. Didn't see it. I don't know if it should be on number 14. I didn't see the original one. I didn't see the original Inside Out there. Number 13, Late Night with the Devil. Some might say it's appropriately at the number 13, the unlucky number 13, Late Night with the Devil. I think this should be at least 11. I would put it in my top 10. It maybe 10 or 9, something like that. Late Night with the Devil, fantastic movie. It's a great horror movie that effectively uses the whole satanic panic era of the 1970s with its plot. So in this movie, we have the underappreciated David Dastmalchian. You guys probably know him. He was Polka Dot Man in the Suicide Squad. He also was in the last Voyage of the Demeter, I think earlier this year, last year, the Dracula movie. Probably a lot of you probably know him from being part of the Goofy crew in the first 2 Ant-Man movies. Okay, and then also first time I saw him, probably the first time anybody saw him, because I think it was his first role, is he was part of Heath Ledger's Joker's gang in The Dark Knight. So he was the thug that was in the back of the ambulance in the scene where Joker tried to kill the mayor. Okay, and Harvey Dent jumps in the back of the ambulance in The Dark Knight, and the thug that he ends up torturing with the coin flip and whatnot. Well, that's played by David Dastmalchian here. Well, David Dastmalchian, to fast forward it to 2024, plays a character named Jack Delroy. And Jack Delroy, in the 70s, which is when this movie is set, he's like a competitor with Johnny Carson from The Tonight Show here. So Jack Delroy is trying to keep up with Johnny Carson in The Tonight Show, and his ratings are failing. And he wants to get a new contract, but if his ratings are falling, he's not going to get a new contract, and he'll probably have to get an honest job. He'll have to work at a hardware store or something like that, right? He doesn't want that. He wants to continue being a late night host. So he desperately is trying to do something to keep the ratings up. And there's this whole subplot involving his wife, and then it goes from there. It moves from that part of the plot to a part of the plot where it's a Halloween episode of his late night show, and he's trying to bring in all this spooky stuff. He brings on a what's the word I'm looking for here? Like a hoax debunker, that kind of thing, like a conspiracy debunker, that kind of thing. He brings on a hypnotist. And then he brings on this little girl that is the sole survivor of a house fire at a house that housed this satanic cult. Okay. And so she's the sole survivor of this fire that took out the satanic cult. And Jack Delroy's girlfriend, there is this therapist, a psychiatrist that's been caring for this little girl that's the sole survivor of this house fire. And his girlfriend, the therapist, is like, Jack, this is a bad idea to have her on the show. I don't know what could happen with this girl. I don't know what's inside her. It could get very, very bad. And they try to portray this girl. They have her on the show because they want to portray her as being demon possessed and that kind of thing. And so they think like her being demon possessed and being possessed by the devil and all that stuff is kind of this big joke, this hokey joke that they can use to, scare up some ratings for his late night talk show there. But, things get really, really real quick in a real ugly, terrifying, horrifying way. Because that guy down below, the guy with the horns and the pitchfork, he doesn't like you jacking around with him. He doesn't like you making light of him there. And so things get, really real with the demon possession real quick in Late Night with the Devil. And it's just very, very good. It's very, very tense. And I like the way it's kind of, if you were old enough to remember the 70s, I was not. I wasn't old enough to remember the 70s, but I can remember the 80s and that kind of thing. And it does kind of, I was old enough to remember some things. And so it does kind of hit me, with the nostalgia and that kind of thing. But it's very, it's atmospheric. It's got some really cool gore in it as well. Just a fantastic ending to The Late Night with the Devil. But so yeah, 13 is too low. It should be higher. I'd say at the very least it should be at number 11 on this list here. Number 12, The Wild Robot here. Have not seen it. I've heard very, very good things. Based on the good things that I've heard about this movie actually should be in the top 10 from what I've heard here. It's got the voices of Pedro Pascal. Yet another creation with Pedro Pascal in it there. What else has got in there? Lupita Nyong'o from 12 Years a Slave, and Wakanda Forever is in this. But I haven't seen that, so I can't speak to its placement in this list. Number 11, Furiosa. There's no way this should be above Late Night with the Devil or The Substance. This is a laughable placement for this right there. This is only up there because this is in Screen Rant's wheelhouse right there. Okay, it was at least marketed as a slay queen girl boss movie. Now, if you watch the movie, it's not so girl boss. It's not as girl boss as it was marketed in this, but I think they placed it here up here in number 11 because they do like the girl bossy vibe of it, although it's not chock full of girl boss vibes as one would think from watching the trailers for it. But it made about $10 at the box office. It's no doubt, hands down, one of the biggest flops of the last 10 years. Okay. And so they probably weren't too happy about that. The people at Screen Rant and their political leanings and that kind of thing weren't too happy with that going down. So they're probably trying to throw, this Furiosa dog a bone and put it in their top 20 list right there. There's no freaking way it should be above Late Night with the Devil or The Substance there. But it's an entertaining enough movie. It's entertaining enough to watch once in it. It's got a lot of stupid plot holes in it and impossibilities, that Furiosa pulls off. Now, for a movie where the subtitle is a Mad Max saga, it sure doesn't have a whole lot of Mad Max in it because Mad Max is in it for about half a second. Okay, although they do have a character in it that looks like a precursor to Mad Max. He could be a character that taught Mad Max how to be Mad Max. Okay, so there is a stand-in Mad Max type character in this movie, and they're played by by Tom Burke in this movie right there. So, but Furiosa should not be number 11. It should be like, I don't know, freaking 20, 19, 18, something like that. So that's where I would put it in my list right there. So that's another one that cracked me up. The Brutalist, I have not seen this. I can't wait to see it, though. I cannot wait to check out the Brutalist. It is, as you see right there, Screen Rant gives it a 10 out of 10, but for some reason it has it at 10. All right. I'm guessing the next movies further down in the list are 10 out of 10 as well. But it says Adrian Brody, Guy Pearce, Felicity Jones. And this reminds me of a movie that is harkening back to like movies like Once Upon a Time in America. It's also got the epic feel of Heaven's Gate without the suckiness of Heaven's Gate. Okay, there. Godfather Part 2, the Godfather movies, that kind of thing. Just a very sweeping epic. That's what this movie. Pardon me. That's the vibes I'm getting from the Brutalist here. I don't know if it has the runtime in here, but I'm guessing it's like 3. I think I heard it's like over 3 hours long. Okay, which is atypical for a sweeping epic, historical epic like this. But looks fantastic. Adrian Brody, I'm hearing great things about him in this right there. It's got a great trailer. It's got a very original trailer here. So the Brutalist. So I can't say that it's a good thing or a bad thing. This being at number 10 right here. I got a feeling I'm going to watch this. I'm going to be like, this should have been in the top 3 or 4 or 5 of this list right here. Much more than some of these other movies that you're going to see. And you just saw a sneak peek of the next movie. and this next movie should definitely not be anywhere in the top 10, although it is in the top 10, shouldn't even be in the top 20 of this list right here. Shouldn't even be in the top 30. This next movie is dog shit. Gladiator 2. What a disappointment here. This is one of my biggest disappointments of the year. Gladiator 2, that is. I wanted this movie to be so good here, and but Ridley Scott clearly has been he phoned it in with Gladiator 2. I was about to say phoned it in with his last few movies, but he did do The Last Duel here recently, and The Last Duel was a good movie there. But Gladiator 2, House of Gucci, what's the other one? Was that All the Money in the World? Those are films where he just basically phoned it in right there. Last Duel, that was a good movie with Matt Damon and Adam Driver in that movie. Gladiator 2, this is a movie where he phoned it in. He's just getting lazy in his old age or something like that. Now, the surprising thing is, one of the biggest stories of this past week is Christopher Nolan said that Gladiator 2 was his favorite movie of 2024. What? Christopher Nolan? What the hell? Just when I thought that, yeah, you were this impeccable genius. Gladiator 2? How much did they pay you to say Gladiator 2 was your favorite movie of 2024? My God. You directed Oppenheimer and the Dark Knight trilogy. Like, you're a genius. You're one of the most cerebral, intellectually superior directors. And Gladiator 2 is your favorite movie of 2024? I mean, what the hell? Makes no sense whatsoever. Did you not see The Substance or, better movies than Gladiator 2? I don't get that. But Gladiator 2 is just such a disappointment. It just follows too many of the same plot beats as the first one. It pisses all over the legacy of Maximus from the first one there. You don't care about the characters. Connie Nielsen's got the acting chops of an avocado. Paul Mescal is no Russell Crowe whatsoever. It's got shitty editing in it. It's just laughably stupid here. So, and I thought I saw a comment right here. Yeah, Mr. Scott Awesome with Heaven's Gate website is still a blast from the past. Heaven's Gate website. Are you talking about the movie or the cult Heaven's Gate right there? So the Heaven's Gate cult. If you guys remember Heaven's Gate cult, that was the cult that thought that the comet passing over 10, 15 years ago was a sign of the end of the world, or they thought it was a spaceship that was flying over Earth, and they had to kill themselves in order to be able to be invited onto the spaceship that was passing over the Earth and whatnot. So it was a big Heaven's Gate cult there. That was obviously a bunch of nut jobs in that, but I don't know if Heaven's Gate the movie has a website there, but Heaven's Gate, yeah, that movie is dog shit there. Now I had to watch it because I kept hearing how shitty the movie was, so I had to see okay, how shitty can this movie be? And it is shitty. Now the only redeeming quality of it is it had a massive budget, and you see a lot of the budget on screen. And now it was dog shit compared to the movies of the 70s and the early 80s, all right? But compared to a lot of the half-ass, shitty movies that we have nowadays, it's not near as bad if you compare it to the movies of the last 15, 20 years, because just the locations, the sets, all that stuff, just how intricate the sets are, how expensive they are, how massive, and that kind of thing. You can definitely see the money on the screen. It is definitely epic, because that's what Heaven's Gate was supposed to be. It's supposed to be this epic Western starring Chris Christopherson and Christopher Walken and Jeff Bridges and other folks there. So, so compared to Gladiator 2, Heaven's Gate is not bad. Okay. There. So, all right. Check right here. And Mr. Scott Awesome. Someone mentioned Heaven's Gate on Twitter earlier this week, so I decided to check out their website again. It's still got the 90s, 2000s look. So is it the Heaven's Gate cult, or is it the movie Heaven's Gate there, Mr. Scott Awesome? You have got me intrigued there, my good man there. So, all right. So we're going to move on while we're waiting for a reply from Mr. Scott Awesome. Moving on to number 8, The Last Showgirl. I have no idea. I've never seen this movie. I've never even heard of this movie. Apparently it has Pamela Anderson. Pamela Anderson proves her acting chops in a heartbreaking exploration of Sin City. So I don't know if she plays like a showgirl or something like this. Directed by Gia Coppola, who I would guess is related to Francis Ford Coppola and Sofia Coppola there. But so I don't know. Maybe it deserves to be number 8. Maybe it doesn't even deserve to be number 80. I don't know. But so I don't know. Pamela Anderson is maybe kind of doing a late in her career comeback kind of thing, kind of like Mickey Rourke did with The Wrestler, or Michael Keaton did with Birdman. Who knows? But since I haven't seen it, we're moving on. All right. So then let's do this. Challengers. Oh, God. Challengers is that movie where, for some reason, I have so many people online and personally in my life trying to convince me that this is a great movie. I don't know what they're talking about here. Oh, you think of the cult. Okay, so think of the Heaven's Gate cult there. So, all right, good. Thanks for that clarification right there on that, Mr. Scott Awesome. So, yeah, I'm sure that cult gives plenty of subject matter for the website there. But The Challengers is like one of these movies where it got so hyped up and had so many critics blowing sunshine up its ass, and I watched it. I'm like, this is the movie you guys are all slobbering over? Like, what? I mean, the best thing about the movie is the Trent Reznor, Atticus Ross soundtrack, okay? And it's not even as good as their Social Network soundtrack, or their The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo soundtrack, okay? It's just that classic Trent Reznor, Atticus Ross synthy soundtrack. I mean, it's good, but the movie is not good enough to match. Okay, now I gotta say, like Zendaya, I mean, she is smoking hot in some parts of this movie in there, but and then of course there's the infamous scene where she's having a threesome with a couple of dudes and that kind of thing. That's probably why a lot of people like Challengers, because, hey, you get to see a movie where a couple of dudes are kissing each other in this threesome. Wow, that's what we want. It's so progressive, That's probably a big reason why people like this. Plus, Zendaya is the flavor of the month here. For some reason, people are just into Zendaya. They're no idea why. I don't know. Probably kind of like they tried to make. What's her face? I can't remember her name. Anyway, never worth bringing up. Occasionally, there'll be actresses where Hollywood tries to shove them down everyone's throat and try to make them the thing. They try to make fetch a thing. Okay, so that kind of thing. But Challengers is like just it's nothing more to me. To me, it didn't come off as anything more than a 1990s era sports drama. I didn't really do anything for me whatsoever. I just thought this is very underwhelming. I wasn't overwhelmed. I was just whelmed, okay, with this movie right there. So it's just, I don't know. I don't know why it's here. It's at number 7. I wouldn't even put it in my top 20. It's not even good enough to be in my top 20. So that is a laughable placement of a movie there. All right, moving up to Beetlejuice. Are you kidding me, Screen Rant? This is one of the more outrageous, just mind-numbingly stupid movies that we see here in this list right here. So again, it was so mind-numbing, I couldn't think of what to say there. Beetlejuice is a sad shadow of the original Beetlejuice. What a waste of my time to go see this movie. Okay, it just rehashed too much of the original there. It wasn't funny. Winona Ryder the whole time. All Winona Ryder does throughout the whole movie is like just do this facial expression. Like that, like that's all Winona Ryder does. All she does is mug in this movie. Michael Keaton doesn't do anything extraordinary in this new rendition of him playing Beetlejuice whatsoever. Just dull, boring. I enjoyed getting a nice little power nap while I was watching Beetlejuice. Okay, it just kept making me yawn. Okay, through this, even to the point where I actually did fall asleep, and apparently I was snoring a little too loud. The girl sitting next to me had to like kind of had to elbow me a little bit, kind of wake me up, which is very embarrassing. Okay, I have to say. This movie put me to sleep here. It didn't do anything for me whatsoever. Tim Burton, swing and a miss in this. Then they do like this stupid claymation animation in this, and then they do this really corny Soul Train thing where it's a soul train. The souls of dead people get on this train, and they even do like the stupid Soul Train, funk music from the TV show Soul Train. Just corny, stupid, not funny, boring. Okay. Willem Dafoe is in a thankless role in this movie. Just a complete failure, complete disappointment, because I was looking forward to this movie. I was kind of hoping that Tim Burton would make another good Beetlejuice movie. I was rooting for Michael Keaton at the time until he came out and he did his little stupid Trump derangement syndrome video there because he's clueless as far as politics go. So I was rooting for Michael Keaton to have another hit on his hands. Now, in retrospect, I'm glad Beetlejuice was a complete failure and shit all over Michael Keaton's career. So take that. The Simpsons. All right, here. So let's double check here, make sure I'm not missing anything. All right. We're getting down to the end here, everybody. Number 5, Civil War. Did I miss one? No, number 6. Yeah, Beetlejuice. Number 5, Civil War. I truly don't have a problem with this being in the top 5. I found this movie to be very what's the word? I found it very, what is it? It must be getting late because I can't think of words. Intriguing. Okay, I found it very intriguing. Just the anticipation of Civil War and the promise of what it could bring. And Civil War, in order to like it, you really need to know ahead of time that this is not some action-packed movie whatsoever. Not action-packed. It's got action, like brutal, intense, kinetic, frenetic action in some parts of the movie. But a lot of the movie is kind of like this road trip, kind of soul-searching, shocking movie, okay, that gives us this look at what America would look like in a civil war, told from the perspective of these photographers that are traveling to DC to try to get an interview with the president of the United States before the White House is taken over by the rebels, or whatever they're called. They have like a different names of the factions of the rebels here in Civil War here. And it's a fascinating movie because obviously it's very, very topical, right? I mean, we live in very divided times because there is a faction in this country in real life, I'm talking about real life now, that they are totally dedicated to dividing all of us against each other. A lot of them work in the media, right? Or the mainstream media. All they do is spend 25 hours a day, 8 days a week, all right, giving 110% to dividing all of us, right? Based on race, sex, you have it. They're trying to divide us all into different groups so that they can say, hey, group over here, this group over here hates you. So group over here, get that group. Hey, group over here, that group hates you. So you group, get that group over there. Get them. All right, let's get in here. Let's divide it up. Let's get a little Civil War action here. All right, so we can divide America and destroy America. And then after America has been divided and destroyed itself, we just come right on in at the end and just mop up the mess. And hey, presto changeo, we got ourselves a nice new country. We've expanded our country. And, whether it's Russia behind it or China behind it, somebody's behind it. And unfortunately, we have too many doofuses in this country that fall for this strategy. Okay, and woke is one of the ways that they attempt to divide en route to destroying this country out there. That's my definition of woke: is anything that inherently is created to divide one group from another group in order to destroy this country ultimately here. And so that's why Civil War, the movie, is intriguing and surreal, because it's topical, because we do have this force that's determined via the mainstream media, Hollywood, definitely academia. That's where it all started. All right, that's where the communist influence started back in the 40s and 50s. And there's plenty of books you could read about all this, where they started out in academia. They started out teaching in academia. Professors picked up that shit. They passed it on to their understudies. They became professors. Now you get a bunch of doofus, students showing up at the college, and they think, oh, well, if the college professor's saying it, it must be true. All right, I'll believe everything. And then you had the sexual revolution, all the hippies in Vietnam, that led to the civil rights movement, and it all just snowballed in. Let me rephrase. It shitballed, further and further into the quagmire, the shithole that we have now, of division and destruction that we have now, right there. And so, and now, thankfully, with the last election, plenty of patriots that realize this country has flaws, but they love it nonetheless, fought back against that, and maybe bought us some time before a real world civil war busts out. But in the meantime, if you want to kind of get a little sneak peek, a very focused depiction of what a civil war would look like in this country, you can check out the movie Civil War. Kirsten Dunst, gives a very good performance in this movie. And then it's got, like I said, it's got some very action-packed scenes in it, particularly at the end. The attack on DC at the end, oh my God, it's got some of the best battle scenes. And again, it's even more shocking and intriguing because it's taking place in DC in current day. And so if you ever wanted to see like what an attack on the Capitol or on the White House by domestic, rebels and that kind of thing with modern, military hardware in just no holds barred fashion. If you ever wanted to see what that looks like, in the last 15, 20 minutes of Civil War, you will see, and it's pretty good. And I like some of the song choices in Civil War. There's what's that? Say No Go from De La Soul. If you remember that song from the 90s, Say No Go from De La Soul. They dropped the needle on that song in a great scene in Civil War. I thought it was pretty good in there. And then there's a Sturgill Simpson song that they play later on in the movie. It's a very retrospective, slow song that they play in Civil War later on, which is very good. So that's why, that's just some of the reasons I have no problem with Civil War being in the top 5 of the Screen Rant's top 20 list of 2024 movies. So I'm going to give me another drink here because I've been yapping quite a long time. Oh yeah, there we go. All right. And if you guys are watching here and you know of somebody that you even remotely suspect would want to check out what I'm talking about right now, going through laughing at a top 20 movie list, top 20 movie of 2024. Yeah, just send them the link. Email it to them, instant message it to them, carrier pigeon to it as well. whatever. Okay, just send them the link there. They could check this out, or they could check it out later on, the recording of it later on, by all means. But yeah, have them check that out. But back to the list. Let's move on to number 4. What do we have here at number 4? I can't wait. Anora. This is another movie that I have not seen. I'm hearing rave reviews about it. Here, Mikey Madison, who you see here in the picture, in the poster for it, she's getting rave reviews for it. It's supposed to be like an erotic tinged movie, or a movie that I guess features some eroticism in it. There, I think she plays like a Russian prostitute or something like that, that kind of thing. So I can't talk to where this movie is in the number 4 list. It might rightfully be at number 4 in this list here. So I'll have yet to check that out, but I plan on checking it out at some point. Deadpool and Wolverine. God bless this movie. I like this movie, but it's not even the best Deadpool movie. Okay, I like Deadpool 1 and Deadpool 2 better than Deadpool and Wolverine. I would have it in. I would put it like at number 9 in my list here. It's fine. It's good. It was a nice breath of fresh air to finally have a Marvel movie that doesn't put you to sleep, that doesn't make you pull your hair out, that doesn't make you roll your eyes and groan. Okay, so Deadpool and Wolverine was good for that. It's got one of the best title sequences there. So to an NSYNC song there, and then Hugh Grant and Ryan Reynolds have undeniable chemistry in this movie. So some good gore in it. Ryan Reynolds, is hilarious as usual, and then Hugh Grant. I'm confusing my Hughes. Hugh Jackman does a good job at playing, his typical, grumpy, grizzled, world weary Wolverine, to the slapsticky, comedic quipping Deadpool, and has some epic battles between each other in this movie, and then you get some fantastic cameos in here. They bring back some classic Marvel characters in here. I'm not going to spoil what characters make cameo appearances in this. But there is some hilarious moments in this movie. So it's a great movie. I'll watch it again. It's got some good crack me up moments in this. So, and I would definitely put it in my top 10, but I'd put it like at number 8. Okay, it's not good enough to be in the top 3 by no means. With that. So, but very, very good. I think that Ryan Reynolds said that's like his last crack at playing Deadpool there. But again, it's not even as good as Deadpool and Deadpool 2 there. So, but moving on to number 2 here, because I'm getting hungry. Okay, I need to wrap this shit up here. So, and Mr. Scott Awesome, best comedy of the year. I can't argue with that because I can't think of a better comedy than that right there. It's very, very good. And one particularly funny part of the movie is, towards the beginning when Ryan Reynolds is just completely destroying the legacy of Wolverine's death in Logan, just completely destroying it, just making fun of it here, and just hilarious, and that's kind of the cold opening scene before that amazingly funny, historically good opening title scene there, to the tune of NSYNC there, I believe. So, all right, moving on to number 2, and Dune Part 2. Yes, I would. Let's see here. Let me do this here real quick. Bear with me here real quick. I want to check something out here. What is going on with that? That is weird. It's like super zoomed. Okay, that's weird. Let's do this. I want to check something out. Let's do Rumble. I'm going to do this. Before I do that, let's do this. Let's check this out here. Bear with me, everybody here. Nope. Get out of that. 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 There we go. All right, there we go. Yeah, I'm. Let me see here. Let's see here. Kind of going through the list here, because I got to cheat and look through the movies that I have reviewed to see what would be number one this year. Dune Part 2 might be my number one movie here, and I should know my number one movie off the top of my list here. And as I'm going through here, I'm seeing some movies that should be in the top 20 list there, but they weren't. So let's see here. All right. So, yeah, Dune Part 2. I would make Dune Part 2. I would make that my number one movie of the year right there. But they have it at number 2 here. So let's do this. Yeah, they have it at number 2 right there. So, yeah. So I would make Dune Part 2 my number one movie. I would make The Substance. I would make Dune Part 2 my number one, Substance number 2. Long Legs is a movie that's not even on this list. I would make Long Legs my number 3. That is a trippy, a very dark, disturbing horror movie. I would make that number 3 there. But they have Dune Part 2 at number 2. If someone has Dune Part 2 as their number 2 on the list, that's fine. Okay. Depending on what their number one movie is. Okay. So we'll see here what their number one movie is. I already know what it is, but Dune Part 2, fantastic follow up to the original Dune. Now, I think the original Dune, Dune came out in 2021. The first Dune, technically Dune Part 1. I think Dune Part 1's better than Dune Part 2, just by a little. Dune Part 2 is good. I would say it is, along with its predecessor, like the biggest epic event movie of the last 5-10 years. Okay, like this, I'm talking about like remember when The Dark Knight Rises came out in 2012, right? It was like this highly anticipated, big time epic movie that people just couldn't wait to go see at the theaters. Okay, it was highly anticipated, and it was the follow-up to just this historical phenomenon of a movie. Obviously, in that case, The Dark Knight, right? In this case, this is the sequel to Dune, a movie that actually would have been more of a phenomenon. Unfortunately, Dune came out, in the middle of the COVID paranoia, where you had all too many people going, I'm not going outside. I'm going to die. I'm going to get COVID. I'm going to die. Like, dude, you're fucking 21 years old. You're a marathon runner, okay? You're not going to die from COVID, okay? Now, if you're 87 years old and you weigh 300 pounds, yeah, then you have something to worry about, okay? So, but you're 21 years old. You're a marathon runner, okay? Go see a friggin' movie, okay? But, it was that time where the mainstream media, again, got it wrong. I know they make a career out of getting things wrong. They had everyone scared shitless about going out and that kind of thing. And so Dune the original Dune, unfortunately, was released in the middle of people just like being scared shitless and staying at home and quivering in fear and scared in the fetal position and biting their nails and I can't go outside, I'm gonna die. So Dune Part 1 would have been a bigger hit if not for that, right? Or, if that wasn't the case right there. But Dune Part 2, again, being the sequel to this phenomenal movie, Dune Part 1, it's a great movie. It's got another, Hans Zimmer knocks it out of the park again with a great soundtrack to it. It's a shame it's not nominated for an Oscar. It didn't get nominated for an Oscar for best score, because of a stupid rule with the Oscars, where if your soundtrack uses any part of music from another movie, then it disqualifies it here. So Hans Zimmer used portions of his own score from the original Dune movie in the score for Dune Part 2. If that's the situation, that should be a loophole to that rule right there. But Oscars are just dying for another reason to have even less people watch the Oscars telecast right there. So Timothée Chalamet knocks it out of the park as Paul Atreides. It's got the sandworm, when he basically gets on the sandworm ride, where he goes for his first sandworm ride. One of the most epic action scenes, one of the best movie moments of the last 20 years, hands down. There, just a captivating scene. The battle scene at the end where the Emperor comes down, and you've got Paul Atreides, Lisan al-Gaib, attacking the capital of Arrakis while the Emperor's there, and just that big battle scene with the sandworms. And then first they launch like the nukes and that kind of thing. What's his face is really good, and then Javier Bardem is fantastic in this as Stilgar. He's got some very funny moments in this movie as well. Rebecca Ferguson is good as Paul Atreides' mother. We get to see for a brief moment Anya Taylor-Joy. She plays Paul Atreides' unborn sister. So just great visual effects, great soundtrack. I like the very beginning. I love the color grading, the color scheme of the very beginning of the movie. It's kind of like the color scheme of the poster here. It's got that burnt orange red, kind of that Mars surface of Mars red. That very opening scene where you've got Paul Atreides and his mother. They're out there with the Fremen, and they're trying to ambush the Harkonnens there. That really cool scene where you got the Harkonnens like floating up to the top of the rock there. Very cool, very atmospheric, very moody. So Dune Part 2 makes me want to watch the movie again, like right after the show. Just has so many great moments. So I would make it my number one, but they have it as number 2 there. So, all right. So then we're moving on to their number 1, and that is Wicked. Okay. And I can't say anything about this. I didn't see Wicked here. It's making a shitload of money, hitting it off at the box office. I didn't see Wicked when it was on Broadway. I have no desire to see it at the theater and whatnot. So, but I don't have I'm not surprised that Screen Rant would have this at number 1 here. Maybe it deserves to be number 1. I don't know. I mean, I have no problem with musicals. La La Land is one of my favorite movies. Sweeney Todd, The Demon Barber of Fleet Street with Johnny Depp, one of my favorite movies there. Les Miserables is pretty good with Hugh Jackman and Russell Crowe and Anne Hathaway. I don't have a problem with musicals whatsoever there, but I haven't seen Wicked, so I can't say for certain whether it should be at number 1. I doubt it. I very much doubt it would be at my number 1 or number 1 on my list right there. I pretty much can guarantee you Dune Part 2 would be on my number 1, and Wicked would be my number 1. Wicked would not be my number 1 right there. So, but I'm going to make it a very abrupt ending to that list of me going over the list right there because I am getting hungry. All right. I'm not hangry yet. I'm not, you're not yourself when you're hungry. The whole Snickers advertising there. I'm not hangry yet, but I'm getting there. So it's time for me to wrap up this bad boy here going on. So, and next week's movie here, I think I'm going to go with The Homestead. Okay. As far as the movie that I am going to be reviewing this Sunday. Okay. So I'm going to do the spoiler-free review of the movie Homestead. So look that up there. Homestead. It's about there's like a nuclear attack on LA, and then there's a group of survivors that have to try to figure out how to survive in the aftermath in the world after this nuclear detonation in LA. It stars Neil McDonough, who's another one of those character actors where if you saw him, you're like, oh yeah, I remember him from Minority Report, and he was in Band of Brothers and Walking Tall with Dwayne The Rock Johnson, and he was recently played a bad guy in season of Yellowstone. So Neil McDonough is the star of this movie. So yeah, I'm gonna do a review of Homestead on my Movies America live show that is coming out this Sunday afternoon, and that is going to be at 4 Eastern, 3 Central, 2 Mountain, and 1 Pacific. And you'll be able to watch that on Rumble and YouTube. Okay. And then let your friends know about that show coming on Sunday afternoon. There will be no Movies America spoiler warning a week from tonight, next Thursday. Okay. Because that's the night after Christmas. Okay. So that's Christmas week, no show that week. And then a week from this Sunday, there will be no show with that right there. So we'll not be doing a show a week from tonight, and a Sunday show. I think it's on the 30th. I think I will not be doing a show there. So just to give you a heads up on that fascinating information, I know. So, but all right. So let's check out. Make sure we're gonna wrap this bad boy up here, and we're gonna get out of here, everybody. But I appreciate you guys watching the show. For everyone that's hung out and watched the show particularly Mr. Scott Awesome. We had Unfolding Joker and Agent X6 and Into Lord earlier there. Appreciate you guys not only watching but getting in the live chat. All right, you guys are going above and beyond everybody else that's merely watching the show or listening to the show right there. So, and there's people with good reason that they're not live chatting. They don't have both hands free. They're maybe they're cooking up some cheeseburgers or behind the wheel of an 18-wheeler. You can't live chat and whatnot. So there's valid reasons for not live chatting there. But all right, let's move on here and let you guys know about some locations, some websites that you should save as favorites. And the first one is solo.to/movies-america. What that is that's the one-stop shop website for all the links that have to do with me, Movies America. Okay. So it has links to my X account, my Facebook account, my Criticlist account, Rumble, Letterboxd account, all my accounts there. So if you don't have to hunt all over the place for all my Movies America accounts, just go to solo.to/movies-america and save it as a favorite or a bookmark right there. All right. And then the next site is www.moviesamerica.com. And the reason you'd want to save that as a favorite and go to that is if you just want to check out the podcast versions of my Movies America Live shows that I do on Sundays, that's one place you could see those at. Since they're the podcast versions, you could also check out the podcast versions on Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, anywhere you would imagine you could listen to podcasts there. Then I'm also I'm on social medias. I already kind of previously mentioned that. I'm on X and Instagram and Gab, all under the handle of @MoviesAmerica. Pretty much any platform you want to see if I'm on there, just look for Movies America. Okay, no space, and chances are you're going to find me there. If you're looking for me on YouTube, just type in Movies Space America, and you'll find me there. You might have to do a little scrolling, but you'll find me on YouTube there. So check me out on those platforms. And when you find me on those platforms, please, pretty please with sugar on top. I know that sounded pathetic. Go ahead and follow me if you're not already following me there. And then after you follow me, if you DM me on X and let me know that you followed me on this platform and that platform and that platform, I will follow you back on those platforms right there. Unless it's TikTok. Well, I'm not on TikTok, so you wouldn't follow me on there. So, but yeah, I want to do you a solid. If you followed me, I'm going to follow you. Okay, it's only right, So, all right. The next one is next site is tdpn.locals.com, and again, you should check that out. As I said before, if you put in a promo code TDPN, you're going to get 1 month free on tdpn.locals.com. That's our website with all our great content. So check that out. And then again, our merch store. We have our merch store link down in the description. Get yourself a Movies America t-shirt or Movies America phone case or a number of other Movies America items down there, shot glasses, beer mugs, what have you. So check that out there. And hey, it's the holiday season. It's time for gift giving. So get the people that you love in your life some Movies America merch. All right. And then solo.to/Till-Death Pod Network. Why you would want to go there and say that as a favorite is that is the one-stop shop for all the links that have to do with anything associated with the Till Death Podcast Network. So that's all my shows. That's the Whiskey Capitalist Podcast. That's Sipping with Shaun. That's the Till Death Podcast. Anything that has to do with the Till Death Podcast Network, you'll find it at that location right there. Next one is solo.to/Till Death Studios. Now, the reason you'd want to go here is say you are a content creator like this guy right here, where you have a show on Rumble, YouTube, what have you, and you're thinking your presentation is a little too bland, okay? You don't have a cool intro like my movie military moment intro that you saw, a little ways back, right? Or like the background that you see here. Your show needs a little bit of that, okay? It needs some flair, right? Like Office Space at Tchotchke's. You need like your 26 pieces of flair there, right? Well, have no fear. You're in luck. Just go to solo.to/Till-Death Studios and reach out to my man Ian, and he will take his skills that pay the bills and make them work for you, okay? He'll create, a new intro for you or a cool background or whatever you ask him to do there, okay, to brighten up your show there. So check out solo.to/Till-Death Studios, but you got to make the first move, all right? And then next we have solo.to/I'm Shaun Cav. That's where you'd want to go if you want to check out all the links that have to do with my man Shaun Cav here on the Till Death Podcast Network. Okay, he does the Sipping with Shaun X space every Friday afternoon, and he's got great stuff that you're going to find links to at solo.to/I'm Shaun Cav. Like he's an author. He has books that he's written there about life advice and other things. He's a bass guitarist, so he's got all kinds of great music content on there. So check that out. Next item on the agenda is solo.to/The Whiskey Capitalist, and that is the one-stop shop for all the links that have to do with that wild and wacky, crazy show, the Whiskey Capitalist Podcast, that you see every Monday and Wednesday night, and then also every other Tuesday night there with the Ian and Shaun and Casey. So if you want a very handy website that you can just fall back to get the links to the latest shows, you could do a whole lot worse than solo.to/The Whiskey Capitalist. And then last, but certainly not least, solo.to/Till-Death Podcast is where you'd want to go and save it as a bookmark or a favorite for all the links that have to do with the Till Death Podcast show, which is the flagship show of the Till Death Podcast Network. It's the show that started it all. And that show is my man Ian and his lovely bride Jen. And they just go over like the latest headlines, the hot sizzling topics of the day and funnies and all that stuff, politics, celebrity news, and gossip. They go over that all marinated in their marital mirth, okay? Because they're doing it there as a husband and wife duo, and they're giving each other the business, as married couples do, and you get to enjoy that and entertain yourself with that. But check that out, and that comes on every other Saturday afternoon. And so, hey, if a Saturday afternoon comes up, and you're like, I don't know if there's a Till Death Podcast episode today. Well, hey, have no fear, because you've surely saved solo.to/Till Death Podcast as a favorite, right? You could just go there and see, hey, there is an episode today, this Saturday afternoon. So check that out right there. All right, so we are winding it down, everybody. We're winding it down. But again, I want to thank everybody for checking out this show about a myriad of different topics today. And again, share this link to this episode with anybody you even remotely would think would like this episode, or send them the link to my page on Rumble and YouTube. That way you and they can go back and watch all my past episodes or some of my past episodes, because I guarantee you there's some past episodes about some movies where you're thinking about watching them, but you're like, is this movie woke? Is it good? Okay. And so if you don't want the movie spoiled, obviously you watch the episodes where literally in the title of the show, it's the title of the episode, it says spoiler-free review. Watch those, and to see if the movie is a movie that's worth your time and money. Okay. So that's, you can check that all out under Movies America at, on YouTube and Rumble and Twitter. Okay. So there you go. All right. So let's wrap this up. But before I do, like I always say, get out there, people. Those movies aren't going to watch themselves. See ya.
Hey, everybody! Hey! I got the police after me. They're coming after me, okay? But I got just enough time to ask you. Just like this video, if you would, and then subscribe to this channel, okay? I'm gonna be in handcuffs pretty soon. I gotta tell you. And so before they haul me off, make sure you watch these videos over here, okay? And thanks for watching this video and the Till Death Podcast Network, okay? I gotta go.